Hello! Welcome to the 5th episode of The Sovereign Sacrifice, a Call of Cthulhu Gaslight actual play written by myself, Chris Lofts, and hosted by the Illusion Horror and Con YouTube channel. I'll be your host, your purveyor of terror, your author of nightmares, and, of course, your keeper of arcane lore. For those of you who are viewing this stream for the very first time, we're using Chaosium's 3rd edition Cthulhu by Gaslight rule set with some slight updates and modifications to it in order to fit the narrative. And before we get into the nitty-gritty of the recap, wanted to give a shout out first to our host, the Illusion Horror and Con YouTube channel. They're fantastic guys. They put on, if you're unfamiliar with the Illusion Horror and Con, the con part of it, it's an annual 3-day virtual tabletop role-playing event. It takes place the first weekend of every December, I believe, every year. I think 2023 is December 1st through the 3rd. So go check out their webpage, get in on it, check it out. You want to attend, it's awesome. Go for it. And finally, I want to talk about, I'll give a huge thanks out to Syrinscape. Syrinscape for their awesome effects and music. Plus, I'd like to thank the following YouTube streamers: Rest for the Wicked, Jesse Almond, the Montana cellist, composer Graham Plowman from Cthulhu Mythos, Cthulhu Mythos Music, Michael Gelfie Studios, Derek Feichter's Music Studios for their amazing ambiance, all of them for their amazing ambiance and background music. If you're looking for good music for your games, check them out. So, it's been an interesting last episode. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you do. But we're going to do a recap, and there's a lot of information, but I didn't want to chintz on the details so much so you can get a true understanding of what's been happening. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, the setting is London, England. It's Halloween, October 31st on 1893. Although the spiritualist movement has waned throughout much of the modern world, or it's kind of just a little bit more subdued, it's still very alive and well in the halls of the wealthy and has become an entertaining pastime for well-moneyed eccentrics, numerous thrill seekers of high society, etc. Fortune-telling, seance parties are now just as common as weddings, dances, and balls, and bar mitzvahs. Well, maybe not bar mitzvahs, but especially amongst the rich. So, that said, we began our story by watching as the Tower of London ravens all took flight, flew north, and did not return. This is an omen, or in the fictional words of the mighty Perseus, it's no bueno. Well, that said, it's because the Kingdom of England and the Tower of London are supposed to fall if those resident ravens ever leave. So, our investigators have, for years and for various reasons, been interested and sometimes obsessed with all things related to the paranormal and supernatural. And they've traveled far and wide in search of not only the truth, but for answers to their own questions as they wrestle with their past, desperately cling to some semblance of sanity. And so, they've all traveled to London to attend the most popular paranormal psychical research event of the year. Yes, it's this masquerade ball and gala that everybody's been saying, are we ever going to get there? You will. It's scheduled to take place tonight on Halloween night. It's exciting to be sure. It's all anyone has ever been able to talk about in the circles of high society and the annals of scientific and paranormal academia. To witness those things like people actually touching the ethereal plane and speaking with the dead, to meet those with supernatural powers. I mean, how exciting is that? But that was before. It was before the roller coaster of terrifying events of this past week for our players. First, there was the mysterious sinking of the luxurious cruise liner RMS Campania, which some of our investigators barely survived, but not before meeting agents of an infamous cult that called themselves the Judas Society, and who attempted to sacrifice young Edward, son of Duke and Duchess of York of England, the future King of England. They tried to sacrifice him in a foul ritual intended on causing some unknown cosmic event. Fortunately, our investigators were able to thwart that, but they ended up finding themselves still boarding a lifeboat and watching in horror as the ship plunges into the murky depths of the Atlantic. Once they finally get to London, they get picked up. Those particular characters got picked up by another ship, and everybody makes it to London. And they all check into their rooms at the Savoy Hotel, and per invitation, they all boarded a train to attend a dinner party in the lush rolling hills of the Cotswolds in southwest portion of England. They arrive at Bamford Manor and met with Sir Richard Bamford. He's the chairman of the London Society of Psychical Research and main contributor to the Gala and Masquerade Ball. However, the dinner did not quite go as well as they had hoped. They literally watched in horror the death of their friend and colleague, Father Noah Bedwiddle, who appeared to spontaneously combust into flames and burn to death right before their eyes. They also fought off several cultists, but not before witnessing the kidnapping of Sir Richard Bamford and Jessica Wainwright, Margaret Playfair's assistant confidant, and very good friend. Collecting themselves and fast on the heels of their assailants, they all board a late-night train and make their way back to London to rescue Jessica and hopefully gain some more insight on these recent and most terrible events. During the trip, they learned that each of them has a rare and very special ability. Things like clairvoyance, telepathy, divination, spirit medium, and lastly, having a hypersensitivity to electromagnetic fields, which has more than one use. So this brings us to the events of the last episode. Once they arrive back at the Savoy Hotel, and our investigators, they start to experience many supernatural things throughout the hotel, some of them terrifying and causing some of them to lose a bit of their sanity. And in their attempts to look for Jessica, they realize that they think that she's somewhere below the hotel and realize that there was an old abandoned subway tunnel below the Savoy. So they find the tunnel, they find this old platform, and they travel along this dark subway tunnel, finding another platform, and they encounter an old railway car powered by arcane energies. And through the desecrated body and still beating heart of a dead man who lay below the floorboards, chained to the frame of the car. And in that subway rail car, they traveled deep into the earth where they found a well-used and well-lit cave entrance. It is there they met or found Nigel Higgins. He was kind of a crazy man, at least they thought, or at least to some. He was actually kind of familiar to Johannes, or at least his name was. He actually knew who the investigators were, informed them that they must fulfill their destinies, that there was something extremely important that they must do. He didn't quite get it all out, though. We watched as Nigel helped the investigators rescue Jessica, but not before, and for reasons unknown, being poisoned by Dr. Finley. And Lennox, now convinced that Nigel was in league with the demon Flauros, he took Nigel's crucifix and rosary as he lay on the floor of the railcar and died. We also learned that one of our investigators, Johannes Ricke, a cultural attaché for the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, had actually spent the past 2 years investigating the deaths of 4 separate Vatican Catholic priests, all of whom took or had taken part in an exorcism 32 years prior in Italy. And the last surviving person who took part in that exorcism was Nigel Higgins, who at the time was just a Vatican seminary student. They then, with Jessica in tow, narrowly escaped the Judas Society cultists shooting at them as they fled the subway tunnel, not before Lennox taking a bullet to his right calf, and they managed to find their way out of the path through the passage and through another passage under the Tower of London. And they make to basically get their freedom and managed to get away. Margaret took Jessica, whom appeared to be dehydrated, drugged, to St. Thomas Hospital in Lambeth for treatment. And Johannes reported to the embassy and made them aware of the events that had just transpired. Lennox, Dr. Finley, and Eric Lauritzen, however, they all made their way to the Four Horsemen, a dodgy pub located in the western Whitechapel region of London, where they conducted an impromptu surgery on Lennox's right leg, removing the bullet, and discussing how they all felt that Jessica may be the unwitting pawn of the Judas Society, or even the evil one, as they called him, just like Nigel was. We also heard Eric Lauritzen say something disturbing, things like about Lennox's loss of blood. Lennox, now under the influence of alcohol and a small amount of laudanum, sits back, enjoys another pint, and begins to chat with Dr. Finley and Eric Lauritzen. But then, something altogether unexpected happens. And we've created a video snippet of what happened during that episode. And David, if you would please do the honors, let's show it to him. Your head snaps to the doorway as you see a man enter in with curly black hair, a beard that's covered in dust. His eyes are kind of wide, and he's wearing what looks to be clothes from a dock worker. He eyes you immediately, smiles, and walks over to your table and sits down.
Oh, no.
I'm actually a bit of loss here.
Wait a minute, is it Nigel? What?
It's Nigel.
It's Nigel again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll immediately get up. I'll call for another round for the table, +1. And I'll kind of put my hands around him. My dear chap, come on. Take a seat and take a drink. Where have you been? And just immediately kind of covertly pull him to the table while trying to also shut him up.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Just a moment. So, yeah, he looks a little like he's confused at first, and you know, you're not really quite sure what's going on. But then he kind of looks to you and smiles as you hand him a drink, and you know.
Come on, the old chap, take a seat.
Smiles again.
How?
And that's where we're going to leave our session for today. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I just chuckle every time I see Lennox's reaction to that whole thing. It was pretty hilarious. That is awesome. So, getting back to our situation here. So, let us look at first let's go to St. Thomas Hospital in Lambeth.
Right.
We find Margaret sitting in a chair next to the bed with Jessica, who's now currently sleeping very soundly. And it looks as though she's going to be fine. The doctors have come and told you, Margaret, that her prognosis is good. She just needs some rest and hopefully to get some of these drugs out of her system. And it's going to take a few days for her to sort of recover from this, but she's going to be fine. She's going to be fine. But as you sit there and you're reassured by this, and you're thinking, well, as long as she's okay, you're wondering what's next. So what's Margaret thinking? What's she wanting to do? What she thinks she should be doing next? Now that Margaret's safe.
Well, I'm really at a loss, more than I've ever been in my life. You know, sort of everything that I thought I knew had, taken quite a turn. On that shipwreck might have been bad, sure, but I mean that was nothing compared to the events of the last 2-3 days. I mean, I still cannot bear to really think about the implications of the night at Dr. Bamford's. That was all a bit much, really. And then I've spent decades of my life chasing after this arcane knowledge, and all the days and weeks I spent in meditation and in spiritual exercises and the seances and whatever, and forever striving for some insight, and now I find myself haunted by these visions, foresights. This is not how I wanted it. I guess this is a case of careful what you wish for. Possibly. Or the irony. I don't know what to do next. Honestly, I don't know. I just want to make sure Jessica is fine, and when my friends are fine, I'm pretty sure that Dr. Bamford and Noah are never gonna be fine again. I might have to retire to the country and start breeding goats. Or design wall hangings or something.
There you go. All right. Well, while you're contemplating all of this, what would she be doing to pass the time? Would she be doing embroidery or anything like that? Do you think she would be doing anything like that? Or...
I didn't bring anything of the kind, of course. I mean, obviously I've lost everything much that I had sort of recently in the shipwreck, and then I didn't think I was gonna have the time for any pastimes with the ball and the meeting everybody in the society. There's gonna be so much socializing and shoulder rubbing and all the things going on. I was gonna this used to be my favorite time of the year, and now I can't even think what I'm going to do when I see my regular friends and they ask me, "Oh, how are you, Margaret? Why you look a bit tired? How am I going to explain this?"
It's true enough, but as you ponder these things, you're kind of fiddling with your handbag in your hand, and you notice
is what I'm reduced to, fiddling.
Yeah, well, you notice that you see the red ribbon that. It's Jessica's red ribbon that she likes to wear in her hair. And you pull it out and you're just kind of looking at it and pondering it, just glad that she's okay. You look over at her and I need you to make a roll on your divination, please.
Right on. I wrap that ribbon around my forefinger. And is this something I would spend luck on, possibly?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think I will. So,
okay.
As I twist the ribbon between my fingers.
Okay. So, as you twist the ribbon in your fingers, your mind is suddenly jolted by this type of energy. You're familiar with this energy. This is something that helps connect you to the ether, to the realm, and whatever it is that gives you the power to divine what's going to happen in the future. And once again, it's this black void before you. And in the center of your eyes, you see a pinpoint of light, and it suddenly goes bigger. It's almost like whoosh, you come directly into that pinpoint of light. And you find yourself sitting in a very plush, well, you're not really sitting, you're sort of floating. You're kind of looking in on this. You're not physically there in the moment, but you're sort of a viewer, a voyeur, if you will. And so you look at this room, and it's very plush. It's like all sorts of gold filigree and just all kinds of. And then you realize this has to be Buckingham Palace. And just as you notice this, you hear one of the doors open up, and you see Princess Mary come in, and she's got Edward in her arms, and she's watching them and watching him. She's actually feeding him at the moment. And come in behind her is a couple of maids that basically had turned out. Said they're in the nursery. You find yourself actually in the nursery, and she feeds him, and just as she gets done feeding him, she burps him and then lays him down into his crib. And she looks back at the two maids with her, and she looks a little bit nervous, but says, "Yes, I must leave for a while. Please take good care of Edward. I've instructed the guards to check in on him frequently. Yes. Thank you." They're both kind of do a curtsy and do a yes, ma'am. And she leaves the room. One of the maids starts to go over, picks up some toys and stuff that was kind of around the place, and it's kind of straighten things up. Once she's done, you hear her say something to the other one, but it's not quite intelligible. And excuse me. So the other maid, who has brown, looks kind of a grayish hair. She looks kind of familiar.
Oh no.
Well, I mean, not quite familiar. I mean, she's young, but her hair belies that. It looks kind of gray. You wonder, geez, if you've never seen a young woman look this young and have kind of grayish hair. And you see her standing over the body of Edward, the baby. He's sleeping right now, and she's kind of standing over him, and she has this kind of a smile. And it's kind of a dark, dead stare from her eyes as she looks down, child. And she pulls out something in her hand and starts rolling it around in her hand. And you're able to kind of move in and look and see. It's a silver ball with 3 gold X's on the side of it. And then whoosh, you shoot off to another direction, into another environment altogether. And now you're looking through the eyes of some man. And you can see Lennox. You can see Dr. Finley. You can see Eric. You're looking through someone's eyes, and you can't quite hear what's going on, but you see Lennox's face just jolt, and he's visibly disturbed by whomever he's talking to. In fact, everybody there is visibly disturbed by whoever they're talking to. And you hear in the background a gunshot, and you're out of it. You literally wake up. So,
Whoa.
What do you do?
Well, I don't know how to say this without coming off horrible, but I don't really, whatever the guys are up to, I'm sorry, but they, there's 3 of them and they can handle themselves. But poor little Edward, and I'm sure that horrible Palladino woman has found a way to get back at him, and I need to stop this.
Okay. So what's your plan?
I don't know how much time I have, but I think asking for an urgent audience with Princess Mary will be the thing to do. So, I don't know. Do I probably need a post office or something to go send a telegram?
You could possibly do that, or you could literally go to the palace and ask to send a message, tell them who you are. They know you personally.
I don't really want to, just right now.
Okay.
Rather than waiting at the. It is late at night too, isn't it?
It is. It is now. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, it's
that
just after dark.
That strikes me as. Oh, okay. But yeah, that strikes me as again. I still feel the urgent need to watch over Jessica after I feel I let her down at Dr. Bamford's, and.
Well, you realize.
But yeah, I think.
Sorry.
I think I'll go to the hospital reception or something, and find find myself a porter or somebody that I can, send for an errand to have a telegram sent?
Well, you down in the foyer area, there is the admissions office and administrative area of the hospital, and you know that they can send a telegram from there.
Awesome!
Given,
So I
given
just
who you are,
throw my name and influence around. And,
that's they're. Oh, considering one of their wings is probably named after your father, so who knows? But in this particular case,
grandfather, my father is he only has money for the military.
absolutely. So what are you going to say in your message?
Anyhow, that I most urgently need to see her because events on the ship threaten to repeat themselves. Don't let Edward out of your sight.
Okay. All right. So you send the telegram, and we're going to fade from you. We're going to head over to the Austrian-Hungarian Empire's embassy, where Johannes has just been talking it over the certain circumstances of what's been going on recently. And so what's going on? What are your plans right from here, Johannes?
I think from here on I would go back to the hotel.
Okay.
Depending how late it is, maybe grab a bite to eat. I feel I haven't eaten in a while.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Okay. Anything else?
And then look if some of my fellow party members show up. If not, I would be going upstairs and would be trying to get access to Lennox's hotel room.
Okay. All right. First off, on your way back to the hotel, you note hundreds of carriages are backed up, all trying to make their way and drop people off at the front door of the Savoy. The masquerade ball is about to begin. So even trying to get there by cab, you tried to take a cab, you got maybe close, but you had to walk the rest of the way. And there are literally hundreds of people are waiting in line. Security's tight here. Believe it or not, they've done quite a bit of security with this. They've actually hired or worked with the London bobbies to help work with security on this because of so many different high-ranking people and high amounts of money going into here. So you managed to kind of get your way through all of that. You didn't. I think because of the fact that you had proof that you are you currently have a room there, it was not hard for you to go inside.
I just had to say it a million times on my way through. No, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of basically what happened. And you come in and you see some of the most amazing outfits, costumes that you've ever seen before. This does not really remind you of a masquerade ball. This reminds you of Carnival in Italy, with the plaster, white faces and the teardrops and stuff like that. It is so unbelievably flamboyant. It's stunning, really. And so, hold on just a moment. Apologies. You hear the music in the background. Lovely waltz is playing, and you actually can kind of peer in, and you can see several couples twirling about already. Multiple servants are going around with silver salvers, with champagne. Some have all different kinds of hors d'oeuvres, and your stomach grumbles when you see this. There's actually a buffet line of all different kinds of foods that they have set up over the side. But you're not dressed. You don't have your costume. So,
Yeah, so up to the room it is. If the ball has already started, then this other business will have to wait.
Okay.
Unfortunately, and I have to prepare my costume. I can assume I have brought a costume since this is one
Sure.
of the occasions I am
Sure.
actually here for.
most people are dressed in it's up to you, whatever you want to do, but most people are dressed like, knights, kings, queens, the pawns, bishops, that type of thing. It's always that type of a motif.
I have a good idea.
Okay. Well,
It's a deer skull mask. Of course, it's a deer skull mask.
a deer skull mask. Okay, this is going to be interesting. All right. Okay. Just
And
a
then,
deer
like
skull
with a
mask,
nice
Okay.
suit. looks
Okay.
dapper.
Nice dapper suit. Okay. Deer skull mask. Okay. So I'm assuming after once you get changed, you're just going to go down to the ball and just get some food, right?
And observe the situation. Look if I can. I
Okay.
can probably not recognize anyone there, but
Right. Well, you get there. You're right. You can't. There's quite literally. Actually, well, you're not quite certain. There's a gentleman that goes around. He seems to be going around greeting a lot of different people, and you think you've seen how this man walks, has a specific gait and how he walks, and you think you've seen this before. But he's wearing the clothing of kind of like a 14th century, French fop, but has a skull mask on. And he's meeting some of the women, kissing their hands and speaking to them, offering them a drink, etc. But your stomach is rumbling, and you definitely need to get some food. But that's really the only one that you kind of, that's interesting. I want you to make a spot hidden for me, please.
I sure can.
Excellent. All right. So after you manage to get yourself some hors d'oeuvres, and you're like, oh, that's delicious. And then you recognize the gait of this man. That has to be Sir Richard Bamford.
That ain't good. I'll keep a close eye on who he interacts with.
Okay. All right. So we're going to fade from you. Now we're going to head back.
All right. What's up, guys? Willis here. We're back
To the
with
wonderful,
video. In this video, guys.
wonderful Four Horsemen Hotel, or Four Horsemen Pub. As soon as I can get the right music. Apologies. Okay. So, this has just happened. This horrible creature sound has come out of Nigel's voice. We are set in this pub. Everybody, as soon as they heard this horrible guttural sound, they panicked. The women screamed. They're flying out of the door, trying their best to get out of the door as quickly as possible. You three are still sitting at your table at the moment, but we're going to see what you want to do. But it seems like everybody has scrammed from the pub, and Nigel just kind of sits there again. He's smiling. And he kind of looks again to you, Lennox, and then realizes he says something in that horrible voice again, and then,
oh, I'm so sorry. Where are my manners? You do not speak any of the infernal languages, do you? Oh, how sad. Looks around. Makes me think of plays. Do you like plays? You simply haven't seen a real tragedy if you've not seen Marlowe's Dr. Fausta, Hammer Lane down there, you know, amongst the cruel ones. Of course, we don't see them as tragedies, really. We see them more as comedies. Gloriously fun and deliciously evil. But I digress.
He looks over to you, Dr. Finley, for a moment, and then realizes he had something else. Looks back over to Lennox.
Oh, one more thing I meant to tell you, Lennox. I really must say I expected much more from you. Your childhood friends have feathered such a wonderful nest for you, full of tantalizing power and wealth. But do you know who they actually work for? I bet not. Oh, and one more thing. I didn't mean to tell you. Just a little more. I've never actually thanked you. I don't really ever thank mortals for anything. So in your case, I shall simply say, bravo. Bravo. For the past few years, I've been slowly destroying this idiot's mind. It's been deliciously fun, but the only thing that has kept me from fully taking control was that lovely crucifix that you took away from him. Aren't you so nice? You made it simple then. And that's how I'm here now.
You watch him, he's just smiling, and then all of a sudden you see in the background, you see the bartender, who actually had ducked behind the bar, slowly raises up from behind the bar and is holding a double-barreled shotgun. He holds it, he levels it at Nigel. And as he does so, you can see that the bartender is attempting to pull the trigger, but he's struggling to do so. He can't quite do it. And you see, well, the demon, whatever it is, you think it's Flauros, his eyes just glint, and he smiles a little bit more, and he watches the bartender suddenly lowers the shotgun, and his eyes go wide as he appears to have absolutely no control over his body. He turns and walks into the back. Everyone hears a woman's voice saying, "Ian, what's going on out there? Should I get the police? What? Wait. What are you doing? Don't point that at me. What are you doing? No!" And blam, you hear the shotgun go off, and a thud hits the floor. A few moments later, you hear another shot go off. Another thud hits the floor. Flauros chuckles in delight. He looks over to you, Dr. Finley.
It's the little things that make us smile, isn't it, Doctor? By the way, also, bravo on leaving old confidant. That was simply exquisite. Pity he survived, though. Do you know where he is? I'd be happy to pay him a visit for him. For a price. Or would you rather I bring your lovely wife and daughter back? Oh, I can see it in your eyes. Yes, I bet you would, wouldn't you? All you have to do is...
Suddenly, a distant cry is heard echoing all around the room. It's almost as if it's disembodied, but it's like echoing, coming in and out, and you hear the voice of Nigel. And you hear him say, "Run! Run! He will kill you all! You are the keys! You must lock the sigils! It's your only hope!" Flauros growls at this moment. He holds the hand up of Nigel, takes a bite of both of his fingers, his ring finger and his pinky finger, rips them off with his teeth, chews on them a bit, and spits them on the table in front of Eric.
Feeling... Are you feeling a bit hungry? Explore, Eric. You don't want to waste all that blood, do you?
Blood and bits just kind of fall off of his teeth and his mouth.
I wasn't even sure if you had it in you. You actually poisoned this fool. Well, that was interesting. Nonetheless, which one of you should I deal with first? He then looks as if he's suddenly... What's this? Oh. Deal with you later.
And you watch as Nigel's body goes limp and he falls to the floor. He appears to be still alive. What do you do?
I think Dr. Finley will rush towards the body that's lying on the floor, make sure he's still alive, check pulse, breathing, and so on. And I think he will tell the others to stand away. Stand away. I'll take care of him. Don't worry. Maybe make sure that Lady Playfair is all right. I'll see what I can do with him. He doesn't seem to be possessed anymore. Right? Now, go check out the barman, the bartender. I think he shot himself. Right.
Okay, so first, two things. One, yeah, everybody needs to make a sand check for the initial, just, oh my god, ness of what happened. And Eric, I want you to make yours with a penalty die because of your dark history. So.
Yeah, that's a fail.
Okay. You lose 4 points of sanity. All right. So, Eric failed.
Do we lose any for succeeding? Penalty roll?
Nah, yeah, you've got to lose at least one. Well, wait a minute. Now, you know what? Because you have actually seen this sort of before, and that was with Father Ben Whittle. So, no, if you make it, you have no sand loss, but you're definitely rattled.
Right. Is he in a state where he can be made to talk? Can I try to revive him?
I'm going to need you to make a medicine roll for me, please.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
1. Got a 1, a critical.
You got a critical. Outstanding. All right. Well, in that case, literally, you're feeling his pulse. You listen to his heart rate. His pulse is thready. It's weak, and his heartbeat is definitely weak, and it's slowing. You think that he is slipping away, and he's not going to be here much longer. But you hear him trying to. He kind of calls out to everyone. You can hear him sort of, please, listen to me. My pocket, in my lapel pocket. Take it. Learn. Stop. Stop him. And with that, he passes away. Dies. So, what are you three doing? You hear whistles of bobbies outside. You hear the Bobby whistles going off.
I don't think we should stay here much longer. Let's get our things and...
No, you neither. Yeah, let's make an exit. I would say there's not much more we can do here anyway.
Take his code pocket.
Can I quickly go through his
code?
Yeah.
Just take his code.
You're gonna take his. You're just gonna take his code.
Yeah, take the code.
Okay. Yeah. All right, no problem. I guess you can get that off of him relatively easily. You take his coat and tell me how you're exiting, where you're going.
Can we slip out the back? Is there like a...
There is a back entrance
door?
Into an alley. That definitely is.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds appropriately shady. So, yeah, let's slip out the back. Yeah.
Certainly. So you basically open the back door and your face is just wafted with this horrible stench of horse shit, because that's pretty much where they all poured in the alleys. And at this time period, it's nothing but horse shit that they shovel into these alleys. So you're kind of stepping through this, trying to get through it out to the main thoroughfare, and you are thoroughly stinking by the time you actually get to the street.
Smells like Boston.
When you exactly something like that. So okay. So fortunately, you see some of the bobbies are running. You kind of come out and around to the side, and the entrance to the four horsemen, the fourth horseman is to your left, maybe let's say 40 feet down the sidewalk. And you see bobbies going towards that direction. You see someone. I swear, there's got to be a beast in there. There's got to be some sort of bear or some sort of, I don't know what it is, but you better call the zoo. And you can see that the bobbies are a little bit hesitant. They're like, bear? You see they're looking at their little nightstick and going, a bear? So they're just kind of hesitating and hovering around the doorway there. So, but you also see you're a fair bit away from Savoy. So I don't know where you guys are planning to go, what you're planning to do. What's your plan?
Mr. Lauritsen, I think you are the best equipped in such situations when it comes for life and death, hey?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I don't like the filth of the city, but it's, the city is also a jungle. So, yeah, I think we'd better stay away from the police. Should we try to make it back to the hotel?
Doctor, you are at least decently dressed enough that you could just mingle among the crowds on the street.
Yeah.
We'll take the long way.
I need.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
I need all three of you.
Take the back roads.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you're going to kind of take the back way too. Okay. That's not an issue. Not a problem. But I do need all three of you to make your special ability rolls.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll start with you, Lennox, first. You're out there. You were kind of staring, and you swear to you started hearing, So you basically you're staring at one of the bobbies, and he's not talking, but you hear his voice, and it's not much. You just kind of get a snippet of it. You get a real detail. But he's like, "Bloody hell! I've got dinner waiting at home. I don't want to deal with this, bear." You hear him basically complaining in his mind. And then we move over to Dr. Finley. Dr. Finley, as you're walking, you were like the last person to come out of the alley with the other two in front. And you hear your wife's voice behind you. Freddy? Freddy?
I'll turn around and see if he's
You
there.
see the visage of her, and you see your daughter nestle up against her leg. Freddy, I'm so scared for you. We're leaving now.
No. You're not going anywhere. Is it true? Is it true what Flauros told me? Is he there with you?
She looks over her shoulder. She's got fear in her eyes. She's not sure. No, you must leave. Just go, Freddy. Just go.
I need to know. I'm doing this for you. I don't care about anything else.
You're not doing this for me or for a daughter. You're doing it for you.
There is no me without you. No. Tell me, is he the one who's keeping you imprisoned?
I can't say anymore, but please move on, Freddy. Please. And you see a creepy hand kind of coming into the visage that's around her, and she screams, and then out of sight.
Well, that changes plans a little bit. I think you mentioned that the bobbies and the police officers are not very eager to enter the place, right? They're still not.
Yeah. Well, you did when you get out there. They were kind of hesitating at first. Then the sergeant shows up and basically kind of smacks them upside the head and pushes a couple of them inside to go and check. So a couple of them did go in. So
I think I'll try to make a move and get closer to the sergeant. I'll first make sure that Lennox and Eric are now far away, not in any trouble, not in any way, and they're not going to get into any trouble for my actions. And I think I will step inside the bar, the Four Horsemen, and announce myself as a doctor, and that I will probably be able to assist people here. Oh God, look at this. Who is this man on the line of the floor? Let me have a quick look at him.
So you go inside, do your announcement, and start to go over and take a quick look. I'm assuming this is Nigel that you're looking at. Yes.
Yes. I want to whisper something in his ear.
Into Nigel's ear.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
I will whisper his name, Flauros. If you can hear me, I'll take the deal. I want them back. And
okay.
I don't know, I assume he doesn't react, right? But I'm certain.
You don't see anything. But then you do hear a woman behind you go, "Wait a minute! You were in here just before. I remember you sitting over in the corner. You were the one who was digging that bullet out of that guy's leg." Bobby kind of looks at you sideways.
What? Do you believe that a man of my stature would dwell in such a place, such a bar, such a horrible shithole? No. I will take
Oi, mate. The Bobby's like, "Oi, mate, I live just down 2 blocks away. You calling my place, my home, a shithole?"
It definitely smells like a shithole.
Right. I think you're going to be coming with me. Maybe take a trip down to the station and talk it up. Maybe you could answer a few questions. What happened here? Sure. Were you here before?
Yeah, it's more important to question a doctor of medicine than trying to solve a murder of 2 innocent people. Now, would you like me to call the Savoy and tell them that Sergeant, are you Sergeant? What are you? Arrested me because you weren't able to figure out what's going on in here. I have guests. I have people waiting for me. Do you know of Richard Bamford? Do you know of him? Okay. Do you know what he can do to you?
Okay, so
you into patrolling back alleys filled with crap. Shit.
Shit. All right, that's gonna go over well. All right, so what I need you to do is I'm what's the equivalent of a fast talk?
Fast talk.
Just
I think.
that.
Is it fast talk? It is fast. Okay.
Or
good.
maybe intimidate. I don't know because I was kind of.
Yeah, intimidate's a good one. I'll give you a choice. Either one, whatever's best.
If I get to pick one, I'll.
Or
choose
maybe
intimidate.
credit rating, possibly.
Oh yes.
Oh, that's a very good point. Yeah, go ahead with your credit rating.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you, Lady Margaret.
Who's not there?
Well, I
As rich
succeeded.
people have to stick together.
That's my highest skill, so I succeeded there. Feel free.
Okay. Well, I figured as much. Okay. Well, you didn't really intimidate him. You literally had to bribe him.
Right. Yes. Good point. Maybe.
Yeah, he was ready to haul you off, and you're like, well, maybe we could come to an arrangement. And yeah, you basically, yeah, you had to give him 20 quid, which that time period is like 2 months worth of pay, or more than that, maybe like 6 months worth of pay for him. But yeah, 20 quid. And he's like, all right, be off with you. And you hear the woman arguing, what are you doing? He was right here. You're just bleeding, let him go. And you make your way out as quickly as you possibly can. So you get back outside. Eric, I'm curious. Did Eric take those fingers with him? Or did he leave them on the table?
It would be a waste to leave them there, but I don't know if I had the presence of mind to pick them up. I was a bit shocked by what transpired. So
You did lose 4 sanity points, so
yeah,
I can imagine he probably didn't remember that. Now that I think about that,
yeah, no, but he in other circumstances, he might have brought them with him, just in case. But no fingers today.
All right.
Not yet.
So, where are the two of you doing, Lennox? And Dr. Finley, are you still staying with Lennox and Eric, or are you making off in your own direction elsewhere?
I think we
already
split up.
Okay, you already split up.
Yeah,
So,
Eric and
all
I
right. So,
we're running back
You're-
alleys
got it.
to the Savoy. Well, not to run.
Okay.
but-
And I do my best to help navigate because that's something I'm good at. Even in the
Roll
city.
your EMF, please.
Sure. I just did, but should I roll it again?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that was no. You're right.
navigate.
Absolutely,
We're
that was
running.
fine. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, you without any difficulty, you're like, yep, this way, boom, 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 boom. I mean, it's like you literally get there, really making good time. However, you're still just before you left, you were out in the alleyway, even though you're smelling all this horse shit and everything else. You feel a serious bout of nausea coming on. And this is nothing like you have ever felt before. Incredibly intense. So, but you know that this is not from the manure. This is from something else. But I am going to make you make a Constitution check just to make sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's Constitution. That's a fail.
Okay, so you're retching. You're literally throwing up. If you had any food, or any beer that you had in the bar, it's now all over, just covering, manure. And
I haven't eaten so much, but I had plenty to drink, so I suppose that.
So that pretty much explains it to both Dr. Finley and Lennox, because you're literally in this god-awful smelling alley, and on top of it you had a lot to drink. So
yeah,
it's pretty much. But internally there is some sort of energy that is growing, and you feel it. It's everywhere. It doesn't. It's, you don't walk one direction and it gets weaker, and it comes back, and it's literally constant all over. So probably you're going to be dealing with this a lot for a while. Maybe periodically you might have to see how well you're doing with the constitution of this, and that type of thing. So that's what's going on.
It's ramping up, so to speak.
Oh well, yeah. You know that you feel this whenever you feel any type of energy or nearby any type of energy. It could be electricity, it could be paranormal, but this is unbelievably strong. I mean, the equivalent would be to stand right next to, maybe a lightning bolt or something like that. It is just really, 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 really strong. So, you guys make your way. Where are you heading to? You and Lennox.
To the Savoy.
To the Savoy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the first thing was to just get away from the location, but now we have we head back to the Savoy too.
Okay.
I definitely want to clean myself up at this point. I got.
They don't even let you through the front door. Neither one.
Yeah, I know exactly.
They said you go around the side.
And I want to clean myself up, put on some new clothes, etc. So,
Okay. Well, get back to you in a second. Dr. Finley, are you just going in a different direction and heading back to the Savoy, or are you doing something else?
No, I think I did what I want to do. Yes, I'll head back to Savoy also.
Okay. So as I described before, well, first off, Lennox and Eric, you guys are stinking so bad you can't even get into a cab. They won't even let you. You have to basically walk the entire way back. So it takes you a little bit, but you manage to get there. And as Frederick, you're able to get a cab. You still got stuff on your shoes, but you're fine, and you manage to get maybe within I'm going to say a half mile of the hotel, and you have to go by foot because it's jam-packed. It's literally traffic jam type thing. So you guys all make it into the hotel and get up to your rooms, get yourselves cleaned up, and I'm going to fade from all of you, and we're going to go to Margaret. What are you doing, Margaret? What's going on? After having that horrible thing that you just saw, what's the plan?
Right. I think I will also contact the guys at the hotel about this. And also, I presume that, again, Telegram will be the best way to do this.
Well, yeah, Telegram. We'll say Telegram, because I was thinking, because this is the Savoy, which they are going to have the top-notch, all modern, so they probably have a telephone in there. But exactly who has a line to that's a whole other ballpark. So I'm going to say where you're at and all that. No, they wouldn't have that. So.
And it's not like I'm going to call them in their rooms, so it's just going to be waiting there at reception for them anyway. So a Telegram just, will do just as well.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll put in something like troubling news regarding the prince. Find me at hospital. Have contacted Mary or something.
Okay.
Or let me say I codify it to the point where I will say have contacted Mary, but I will not actually say Prince, so it could be any Mary, but they will know.
Okay. Yep, they would likely know.
And I'm not gonna say whatever Eusapia or any such things that
Right.
would tip off evil cultists. So after I've sort of called for the cavalry, I think that I will have to wait for a bit to give Mary the chance to even receive my message, let alone react. So I'll spend, I don't know, the next hour walking walking holes into the carpet outside. The sick room that I'm waiting in, waiting in
Right.
front of.
So you're gonna basically the waiting room area, kind of. You're kind of going back and forth, checking on Jessica, and kind of going back and forth, just waiting.
Yeah,
And
she's probably not gonna wake up right away, is she?
No, they told you that she's gonna have to stay here for at least a couple days. So, so while you're going back and forth, you're kind of basically pacing, waiting for some sort of return on this. You note that there is some type of a flyer on the main admissions desk as people come in, and there's like this stack of flyers that are on there, and it on the top of it says International Alliance for Psychical Researches, Masquerade Ball and Gala, principal speaker Princess Mary of Tech.
Oh my goodness! No, that is amazing.
Well, and you read into the article that's on there, it basically says it as part. She is, very much the forefront at numerous charities, and this is one of the biggest ones she gets a lot of money for these charities. So she does speak.
I totally knew this. Obviously, we've been talking about this on the ship quite a bit, and it's just this horrible stress had made it all slip my mind. I barge past the nurse, kiss Jessica on the forehead, and rush out.
Okay. So you rush out, you manage to get yourself a cab, and like everybody else, you got as close as you could to the Savoy, but you had to walk the rest of the way. You get inside, no problem. You see all of this great grandeur of all of these different amazing costumes. And you get inside the main foyer, and you see a gentleman stepping down the stairs wearing this deer antler mask. You see Johannes, Margaret right in front of you. She doesn't recognize you right now.
I approach her.
Okay. This man in this deer mask just literally approaches you directly.
Oh, Miss Playfair.
I sort of. Oh God! Thank you. Thank goodness it's you. I was just sort of in the process of sidestepping him. So no time for the ball. I'm afraid. I saw a thing. A thing. And I sort of grip his hand and don't make me say it was vision.
Usher you to the side a little bit.
He pulls you to the side.
And I say, it's well, you weren't on the ship with us, but well, it's the awful lady, the witch, the devil woman. She's back, I'm sure of it, and she's making attempts on the little prince. We need to find Princess Mary and tell her that her baby is in danger. The very future of the kingdom is in danger. Don't you understand? Have you seen her?
I'm sorry to say I have not seen her so far.
Hard to say.
Would you join me at the masquerade, Miss Playfair? I think it's the only way we can find her. She's in there, and I grandly gesture at all of the masked people, the masses of masked people, dancing and eating and doing all the.
Yes, they're all pirouetting in turn. It's literally this wonderful waltz that's going on right now, and you get in your mind. Honestly, it might be a good idea just to get out there on the dance floor to make your way around to basically keep an eye out for everything.
Miss Playfair, go upstairs and get your costume. You recognize me. How will I recognize you?
I will be I'll be a crone in a black shawl.
Okay.
Where are the others? Have you seen the others?
I have not seen the others yet. They were not here at the hotel when I arrived.
Well, I sent a telegram before I never mind, change of plans. Well, they'll know we're working for them.
we're going to say, because of the time frame, that yes, Johannes, you did find the telegram when you got up to your room. Everybody else did, because it was sent at that time. So yeah, you were able to get it there before everybody actually arrived. So everybody gets that message. So okay, so you head upstairs to change. Okay, Johannes, you're basically down there, just kind of keep an eye on everything, sipping some wine.
We'll also keep an eye on the Volavons.
Right, there you go. Wonderful. All right, so Lennox and Eric, and Frederick, Dr. Finley, you have all made it back to the Savoy. Some more stinky than others, and you managed to get to your rooms, and basically you're able to take a bath of some sort. You decided that the clothes that you're wearing clearly can never be worn again, and probably should be incinerated. So, well, most likely. But then again, Lennox might actually like it. I don't know. You tell me.
It would be certainly a shame if I destroyed these good clothes. I mean, a bit of washing and air drying, and they're good to go again. Also, they blend in much more effectively in case we do some surveillance in shadier part of town. So I'm not going to destroy them. We'd certainly keep them, but hang them somewhere to air dry.
Like near a window or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's not good. But all right. Okay. Hey, the crazier things have happened. All right. So that's what you do. Dr. Finley, Eric, what are you two doing? I'm assuming you're getting yourself cleaned up as well, changing?
Yeah. Eric cleans himself up. Has some more to drink because he lost some of it, so I replace the beverage with some new. I'm back at the hotel, so there's plenty to choose from, and then I get dressed.
Okay. So, what about you, Dr. Finley? Any specific thing you're doing other than just getting dressed? Cleaned up and dressed?
Clean up, get dressed. I think he will try to contact Abigail, his wife, again, by laying out the bed. We uttered her name a couple of times, but she's not there yet.
All right. So, how do you, now that you've started to become much more comfortable with summoning this ability, how would you focus yourself to focus on your wife specifically? How would you do that?
Well, the dress helps, I think.
Okay, so you would use that as a focus or a focal point. Okay, so you pull the dress, the very, it's very fragile. You pull it out of the bag, and you hold on to it and you focus. Go ahead and roll your ability score, please.
That's a regular success.
Okay. So you reach out. You're listening far as you could possibly listen. You stretch. It's like you're stretching this mental hand out into the ether. You stretch it out as far as you possibly can. There's no sign of her. You don't feel her anywhere.
At least he knows what he has to do now. All right, so he'll get dressed and head downstairs.
Okay. So, those of you that are getting dressed downstairs, I need to know what you're wearing. We got one person wearing a deer skull mask. We have another one dressed as a crow, I believe, right?
Sorry, a crown. I had this.
I'm sorry.
I had this incredible costume that I got at the spiritualist colony in New England. It was a
Okay.
native princess. You know, they're all the rage of spirit guides now. But of course, that went down. That went down with the ship, and well, I feel more like going in ashes now anyway. So I stick a giant fake wart on my nose and put some ashes in my face, and
Okay. All right. So you on is that Dr. Finley? What's your outfit gonna look like?
Well, his wife really liked ancient Greek and Roman tragedies,
Okay.
and had a couple of theater masks in her house.
Okay.
House. One
So
of
Greek-
one smiling and one being sad, crying.
Oh, one on each side, the smiling and
No,
sad,
I think there are two
or
masks.
behind. Right. Okay. All right.
And
That's fine.
he will put on the smiling one, but he will keep the sad one
Okay.
nearby.
All right. I feel a serial killer moment coming along. Sorry. All right, Eric. What are you going to be going as?
So Eric is going to be dressed for the evening as a 16th century plague doctor. With the
Right.
pointed
right.
mask and the leather hat and that whole thing. Yeah, that's
gonna be awkward.
Eric's choice for the evening. Yeah.
I just also was about to say I'll be coming as the Medico de la Peste, and yeah. So also.
Oh no, we should have coordinated. How?
This should be funny. Okay, how tall are you,
Yeah.
Eric? How tall are you?
Eric is very tall. He's a tall
Okay.
Scandinavian man. I would say he's almost 2 meters tall, just shy of 2 meters.
So
size
maybe
way
like
over 7
6'4".
Oh,
six-
sorry.
Yeah, sorry, my
American
American thing.
6'1". Yes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no
What about
worries.
you, Lennox?
I think
Are
I'm
you
not,
shorter than that?
maybe just a touch. I think I'm actually not that small as I thought I would be, based on my
I mean,
statistics.
those Americans were eating really well back then. You know, like they were
Yeah.
like a head taller than the Europeans because they had so much meat in their diet.
So yeah, I
man.
might be just a couple inches shorter.
Okay.
Three,
I was
four
going to say that would be a way to
inches.
figure you two out, but okay, never mind. All right, so you guys dress up as those things. All right, you make your way down to the ball. While most of the costumes there do not have a sort of an ominous theme to them, most of them are, like I said, are very much like the Alice in Wonderland type look. Very much the Carnival Italian or Carnival look, but there are some that are quite scary. There's a few Grim Reapers and some ghostly looking people, etc. But you walk in and it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. This whole room, the decorations, the flower combinations that they put together, the food, the massive tables of food and drink. And people are pirouetting and going through, and this wonderful dance is going on. And we're going to first start with Margaret, who comes down in her crone outfit, and Johannes, you see this old crone with a big wart on her nose approach you.
I pull out an apple from under my shawl and say, "Fair child, can I interest you in some fine fruit?" No time for such frivolities. Have you seen the princess in the meantime? We need to find her. And I drag Johannes along, looking for somebody official that might know things, because I presume that somebody would have to be able to reach the important guests, or that maybe they're keeping her backstage for safety reasons or something. There's got to be like the maitre d' or somebody who knows a bit about these things.
Okay, so I need you to make a spot hidden as well. Well, actually, I'm going to say this. No, well, before you do that, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Well, didn't matter. You did anyway. It's okay. I'm assuming, Johannes, you probably would have pointed out the gentleman with the skull mask and that. Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah. So he points out that he thinks that might be Richard.
Oh my goodness, no! How could he? How in the world? And I stare at the.
You don't know
person
for
with the
certain,
particular face.
but yeah, he's just talking with a few ladies, and he's kind of basically making his rounds. Yeah, go make us. You did a spot hidden. What did you make on your spot hidden?
I failed.
Okay.
Well, I will say I would avoid the gentleman in question. I would not want him to see us.
Okay. So, no problem. Really, there's no one that looks to be officiating this, at least not right now. This is simply a dance. And had already been the opening ceremony and the opening speech it's normally given before this begins had already taken place by the time you arrived. So.
Well, I am mildly frantic, so I would just, sort of be. I'd want to run around like a chicken looking for Princess Mary. So unless Johannes has a better plan, that's what I do.
Would them being a public person be enough for me to try my special skill to locate them?
In your case, that's a good one, man. How about we make this a luck roll?
Jesus, no!
Is it that bad? Well, I'm taking a luck roll. You did. You managed it. All right.
No, I did not manage it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, sorry. Yeah, you've heard about her. You think maybe you might have seen her photo in a couple of magazine or newspapers once upon a time, but no, you don't know what she really looks like. You could attempt. Maybe someone can describe it for you, but I would say you could make a roll for that, but it would be with a penalty die. Absolutely.
Yeah, he only recognizes Habsburg princesses.
Unfortunately.
So
is there some sort of obvious back room?
Well, first off, you guys are trying to make your way around this massive ballroom where most of the people are dancing. Some of them are literally kind of up against the wall because there's literally no room to do anything other than just kind of stand up against the wall because there are so many people out on the dance floor. It is actually difficult for you to get around unless you're going to dance. So it's up to you.
Well, I pull Johannes into a corner again, and I say, "Look, I would have somebody from the hotel call for her, but then I'm afraid that might be drawing too much attention. What do you think?"
So they might be going through
Am
Bamford
I right to be cautious?
Yes, you are right. They might be going through Bamford's if there's any.
How can he be here?
Well, there's only one logical possibility.
Oh gosh, no.
So,
because he doesn't look very kidnapped to me.
No,
Well,
he does not.
What? Bamford is like kissing the ladies.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. While you guys are thinking this through, you let me know what you guys are going to do. We're going to go over to Lennox. You arrive, Lennox. Dr. Finley, you show up with your smiling theater mask, and you see not one, but two of these. Forgive me, what they were called again? The doctors with the
yeah.
thing. The plague doctors, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you see two of them. One's a little taller, one's a little shorter. They're kind of staring at you.
I see it like both of us appearing like behind him from either side and just like turning our beaks to him.
That.
I need you to make a spot hidden, Dr. Finley.
Okay. The regular success. Just
Okay. You were looking at these two plague doctors, but behind you see a beautiful redhead, auburn-haired woman. Beautiful blue eyes, looking massively, just like a princess in total. She's wearing these gorgeous jewels, and she's looking to you and smiling. And she's beckoning you over.
I assume that this spot hidden role means that she's beckoning at me, right? That someone else behind me.
Well, you see her behind them, but yeah, she's looking. You pretty sure she's looking directly at you?
I'm curious. I will slowly approach here.
Okay. She looks at you and you approach, and enchanté, monsieur. Oh, would you take me for a dance?
Is she wearing a mask or something?
No, she's not. But she is wearing kind of the French arsenic white makeup type thing, you know? She is kind of wearing that kind of look, you know? So, but she's a little bit, it's not overly done. She's quite beautiful. But she's just almost pleading, please take me for a dance.
Yes, I'll be honored, madame, mademoiselle, and I'll join her in dance.
Okay.
In my head, I'll be dancing with Abigail.
Okay. So, first I need you to, let's see. We're first going to, I don't think there's a dancing roll. I think it's going to be a dexterity, more than anything else. Yeah. So, and then on top of that, I want you to make a roll on your ability.
Okay, so dexterity and the ability. Right.
Mm-hmm. First dexterity, then your ability.
Okay. It's a hard dexterity roll. So
On your dexterity? Oh, wow. Yeah. So you have done this before.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And the regular success on the ability.
Okay, fantastic. So we'll get back to you in just a moment. Eric, you literally see Finley comes, you think you're pretty sure it's Finley based on the way he looked. You saw him from the side, you're like, yep, that's Dr. Finley. And he goes over and you see him bow and looks like he's picking someone's hand and giving it a kiss, but there's no one there. And he suddenly opens his arms out and kind of gives and he starts literally dancing by himself, twirling and twirling about the dance floor. Just getting quite a look from all the people there.
He's acting weird. I observe him and see if is he putting on a show or does he?
You have no idea. This is like bizarre. You know, this is very bizarre for you. You're like, what is this man doing? Yeah, I mean, wow.
I don't interrupt him though. He seems to be enjoying himself. So, yeah.
Okay, absolutely. So I want you to make a spot hidden as well.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that. Let's see. There we go. That's a success.
Okay. So, as you watch Dr. Finley twirling about the dance floor with himself, which is beyond a little strange, but then out of the corner of your eye, you see the table full of, oh my God, food. You're starving. You're hungry.
Yeah.
You know, and there's all kinds of food there. And you go over to start, you pull a plate and you're going to sort of add a few things here, and basically some aperitifs, some, you know, hors d'oeuvres, etc. But then you started to you get through and you hear a gentleman behind you. Would you like an hors d'oeuvre, sir? It looks like pigs in a blanket. You turn to see the platter, which is a bunch of cut-off fingers wrapped in croissant, bleeding all over the platter. It looks delicious.
I almost dropped my plate.
Okay.
Take a step back, and I look up at the gentleman that spoke to me. Does he look like a regular waiter, or?
Absolutely, it looks just like any other staff member that's serving a servant. Yeah. And you look over to the left, and you actually notice a couple other platters. One has human eyeballs on it. And you see a woman go over and pick up one of the eyeballs and take a nice big juicy bite, just like as if it's a grape. And it pops, and juice pops all over her face.
I slowly put down my plate and I start, I'll look around the rest of the room, just looking if is anyone else seeing this, reacting to this.
No, you look over, you see the woman who takes the eyeball and takes a big bite out of it, and then you look over onto the table and you see what looks to be, well, it looks like a stack of, feet. They're kind of packed up one on the other. And just as you kind of shake your head, it's just, I need you to make a sanity check.
Sure, absolutely. Here we go. That's a hard success.
Excellent. You still take 1 point, but you like shake your head, you're like this can't be. And you look up again, and it's all normal food. It's all perfect.
Yeah, I thought it must have been. Maybe I've had a bit too much to drink.
Possibly,
but then
you're hungry at the same time you're nauseous. How is that possible? But it's true. It is. So it's strange.
Yeah, but I can't keep drinking without eating some things. I try to steel myself, and I try to take something very neutral to eat, like a piece of bread or something.
Oh yes, you were able to find some cucumber sandwiches, little finger sandwiches, cucumber sandwich, something like that. Yeah. Actually helps soothe your stomach somewhat. So you're working on that. After seeing all that, you're working on that. Lennox, we get over to you, sir. What exactly are you doing down once you arrive down there? You see all this take place with Dr. Finley. You see him literally walk over, bow to nobody there. Actually, I take that back. We want you to make your roll, please. You might see the person.
Success.
Okay, so you literally see this. Not necessary for this. You see it. It's just you. Very beautiful redhead wearing some fantastic, beautiful dress, very ornate dress with some wonderful jewels. He walks over, starts dancing with her, and they're just twirling about. And you were like impressed, quite impressed. Dr. Finley must have, definitely had some very good lessons, because he's waltzing perfectly. It's like no problem.
Well done.
So,
well done.
and sorry, go ahead.
No, well done, old chap.
Yeah, right. And then you see. You're pretty sure that this is, it's definitely Eric. He kind of goes off to the side. He's like, yes, the other plague doctor. Yeah, you're pretty sure it's him, because you actually talked to each other on the way down, so you already knew who you were. So he starts to go over to the buffet where all of the different hors d'oeuvres and drinks and stuff are. And he gets a very you don't see it. He just stops for a moment, and he seems to be out of sorts, but then kind of shakes his head a bit, and then he was going for like finger sandwiches or for actually sausages, and whatnot. And then he shakes his hand. And he goes over and picks up a couple cucumber sandwiches. You see him kind of nibbling underneath his little beak. They're trying to eat some of it. So, what are you doing?
I think as much as I want to do one thing, Lennox will take a good look around, especially after this incident at the pub.
Okay.
He has become a bit, not paranoid, but certainly cautious, to the extent that he wants to make sure that he knows his surrounding now better. So, get an idea. I mean, if he's been here in the ballroom before, just to familiarize himself with like the various exits. Is there, are they closed or are they open? Do I see security?
Right.
Kind of, he just becomes a bit paranoid because he feels like that they've been almost like always just a step behind. And while doing this, he's kind of trying to also figure out where his companions are besides Lauritz and
Eric.
Dr. Finley. Oh, I guess on a side note, he would stop by and order this amateur Norwegian some pickled herring or something from the kitchen directly, because like that usually helps when you had a good drink. Or some bread with some lard or something. And yeah, then do exactly that what he said. So look around, make sure that he understands the location properly.
Okay, I need you to make a spot hidden for me, please.
Ooh, that is a fail.
How bad did you fail by? A lot. Oh, very much a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, so yeah, you're looking about. There are so many people here with all of these different amazing outfits. You're having a hard time trying to discern who is who. You do note, however, a singular person who has a skull mask on and is wearing kind of a 14th century French fop outfit. And he's kind of walking around. He seems like everybody seems to be very eager to come meet him and talk to him. So he's kissing a lot of women's hands and patting gentlemen on their shoulder, etc. But he seems to be kind of the life of the party, you think.
Let me just do... Okay. Yeah, he will take the note and kind of approach him a bit closer to get an earshot when he introduces himself or is introduced to others, to just know who this man is, if he does reveal his name.
Or you could use your ability to focus in on his thoughts.
Yeah, but let's just do the classical, just go close to it and listen in, if that's possible.
Okay, you're going to try that first. All right, that's fine.
That seems like a very
easy
and non... I think the main cause why he doesn't want to use his ability right now is because he feels he's been already exposed, and in his mind, I mean, he doesn't really understand that the others heard the voice of what he believes Florist in the pub as well.
Right.
He potentially just thinks that he heard him speak to him in, like, ethereal or something, and the others just reacted accordingly without knowing what he said. So I think that's more the point.
Okay, get it. Totally get it. So let's make a stealth roll. with advantage, because you've got all these people around.
Okay, oh well. I'm just gonna roll a... come on. Yeah, that's exactly the same. That's a fail.
Okay, so well, it's just it. You're a plague doctor in a mass of knights, queens, and bishops, and princesses, and kings, and so you kind of stand out like a sore thumb.
Maybe
However,
smell a bit out.
Yeah. So I mean, you kind of make your way trying to get closer to them, and he actually turns over to you. Ah, good evening, good plague doctor. Good to meet you. Oh, I am the prince, the lonely prince. Enjoy your time here. Good day. And he bows and turns away.
Do I recognize the voice?
Yeah, let's make a spot hidden. All right, I guess a spot. Nope, listen.
Intelligence?
No. Yeah, intelligence. That's better.
Come on, don't fail me yet. Yeah, that's a success.
Absolutely, this is the voice of Sir Richard Bamford.
Okay. I will reason with caution, and I will approach. Yeah, I will approach Mr. Finley, who's dancing, quickly, and kind of, as I see the woman he's dancing with, apologize for interrupting, but I need my friend and colleague here for a matter of urgency. I do apologize, and I do the whole gestures and everything to her, apologizing that I need to pull him away from her.
I'm sorry, you're pulling away Dr.
Finley.
Oh, sorry, Dr.
Finley from his.
Finley. Oh, okay, got it. Okay, sorry, my mind was. All right. So yes, yeah, you feel Lennox basically cut in, sort of, pulls you away. You're enjoying this wonderful dance with your wife. I pissed you off. You're on mute, sir.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Oh, no problem.
Yes. So yes, I assume that he approached me with his beak and.
I poked him with
tapped you with his beak.
Tap tap.
Well, was the dance at least halfway through, or is it still the beginning?
Yeah, it was about at least halfway through. Yeah.
Well, I probably figure out who this man is.
Oh, monsieur, you're not going to continue the dance with me?
I'm afraid not.
Don't leave me.
We do have a matter of urgency, and I do so sadly interrupt. And I just pull someone I just pull somebody from the crowd around me, and please,
okay.
if you would take over, and then just put my hand around Finley and try to escort him away.
Well, you see her just going, oh yes, and she holds out her hand, and this guy is looking at literally nothing, and he looks over at you, and he's completely confused, and you guys just walk away.
And then I will approach or go into the direction of Lauritsen and kind of gather the forces.
Okay. So you're gathering Lauritsen. Okay, and so Margaret, as you were basically kind of looking around, frantically looking for Mary, I believe is what you were doing, correct? Yes, you were looking for Mary. So you're going around, you're kind of looking at different women and their gowns and just trying to peek around their little masks or whatever that might be and see if you can tell it's her. And you turn, and suddenly there is a tall gentleman wearing a 14th century French fop outfit with a skull. Oh, my dearest Margaret. How wonderful to see you. Please, come dance with me.
Yeah, no, I don't like this one bit. Right.
Can I come and rescue her?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I am, I will have no such bullshit. And I make it. I'm very sorry, good sir. Still pretending with all my might that I don't recognize him. I apologize, but it's impossible right now.
And I'll just interject. I believe this lady is already spoken
is entirely full. Yes. And I sort of pull Johannes away as fast as I can.
Mm-hmm.
The only possible way to make this not a social disaster is to instantly start dancing.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, my dance card is up to the, sorry.
Well, he's actually, the way Johannes has saved you is he grabbed you and basically took you off dancing. I need both of you to make dexterity checks, please. Oh yes. So. Yes.
I don't step on Johannes's toes.
Okay. Well,
I don't look like a complete idiot either. So
as you pull away and you basically go to start dancing with Johannes, you hear Richard. He just calls out, "Oh, Margaret, don't do this.
Please, come dance with me."
We need to find the others, I whisper in Johannes's ear. He's on to us. We don't have time.
You heard that too, Johannes, by the way. So.
Do you think we should make our way to the castle? Rescue the prince ourselves? If that's what it takes?
Do you think we could even get access?
Well, I sure think so. We made ourselves very friendly during the journey because, well, you see, we saved the prince before, but it would be much better if we had Dr. Finley with us.
But isn't the princess in danger here?
Well, no, it's not the princess. It's her son, you see. She had this, well, we told you, but she had this evil witch babysitter. Well, Dr. Finley dealt with her before, and I'm sure he'd have no qualms to whatever was necessary again. And I know for a fact that the prince and princess of York are very, very much indebted to him, and would, there's no way they would refuse entrance to him. Nor to me, I hope, but I'm really, the one I'm sure of is Dr. Finley, because he saved the little thing twice.
Then we gotta find the others. I look around. Which one of the others is the one that's most likely to only own like 3 suits that I all know?
Hey, okay. I feel like that's I don't know.
That would be my first try to find if I can recognize any.
Well,
of the
it's
suits.
interesting. Of all the plague doctors that are here, there's, believe it or not, there's actually about 4 or 5, including these 2. But the thing is how you could recognize them is the smell. They only had 1 bath. It's still, they look like they've been dealing with the plague.
I don't know that they've started smelling because I wasn't there when they fell into the manure.
Well, that's actually quite true. Never mind. All right. Yeah, you're right. So, you can go ahead and make a spot hidden. Try to do well.
I fail epically.
Yeah.
Can I possibly go ahead and have one too?
You're gonna look as well?
Oh! I see somebody.
Should have
Extreme.
deferred to the lady.
Interesting. Okay. So, tell me exactly what you were looking for. Were you looking for the other members of your party, or what were you looking for specifically?
I mean, ideally still Princess Mary, but failing that, Dr. Finley, and then, with like a slight bit of room to spare the others.
Okay. So, basically, you're you're kind of doing this, the waltz and going around and around, and you're kind of turning your head and searching, scanning the entire room. And you do notice this plague doctor come up to which you see. Did you see Dr. Finley when he came down, or no? I don't think you did. No, that's right.
No, I don't know the costume.
So we're going. There's a gentleman who's wearing a Greek theater mask with a smile on it, and he's actually quite very well dressed. As the body style and type, you immediately recognize that as Dr. Finley. And considering the shoes, they're very worn and just not looking very good shoes of the plague doctor, you're convinced that that's probably Lennox as well. You see Lennox grab the plague doctor. You notice that Dr. Finley he was dancing around, but he was dancing with no one, and he was just twirling, smiling. He was just having a grand old time until this plague doctor stopped him and pulled him away, and they seem to have turned and they're walking in the other direction.
Yeah, I use my hand on Johannes's shoulder to sort of push him in the direction, and do our best to sort of dance that away.
Okay.
We literally waltz over.
You're waltzed your way over. That's funny. That's awesome. Love it. Okay. So you waltz over. You guys, but Lennox and Dr. Finley, you're literally, Dr. Finley, you're like, wait, what's a minute? What are you doing? As he's pulling you across the floor. And behind you, you hear, you see someone literally, they bump directly into you. And Johannes is like, pardon me.
Frederick! I, forget myself and first name the doctor, because I'm so very glad to see him. I, still afraid that Richard might come and abduct me. I immediately take up dancing poses with him again. So, this time sort of not doing the giant Viennese, like twirling around, but just like a very sort of small standing in one spot dance. And I say, Frederick, please, it's Eusebia's back. She's after the little prince again. I saw it. We need to get to the palace. Princess Mary ought to be here, but I can't find her. And I know that woman is. I don't know how she's back, but I recognized her. She looks young now, but she still has gray hair, and she still has that awful stare in her eye. And she was trying to harm the little one. We need to get over to the palace, I think. Please, what do we do now?
I think I will take a couple of moments to change masks. Remove the smiling mask with
the sad mask. That's hilarious. All right, gotta love it. All right. So, Lennox, what are you going to do?
Still trying to save the
You hear all this from Margaret.
Still trying to save.
Yeah, it's still.
Well, I'll get.
It would appear so.
I'll get Mr. Lauritsen, and I suggest that we at least move to the side and, looking around, people dancing around them, not interfere with anyone else's business further. So try to kind of get them to an exit as well as the side of the room.
Right. Totally get it. So I want all of you to make a spot hidden for me, please.
Someone got a 1.
Okay.
Oh, nice job, Eric.
Eric got a 1. Yeah.
Okay, so those of you that had succeeded, and Eric will give you more detail, but you see what looks to be a Queen of Hearts, woman that's in an outfit of Queen of Hearts. She's standing about 5'4", and she's definitely made up. But there are people standing around her very closely. It's almost as if they're standing guard over her. And some approach her and They lean over, they take off their mask, and they give her a kiss on the left cheek. So, those of you that are looking directly at her, who know her before, you recognize this to be Eusebia Palladino. She's in the room.
Oh.
The rest of you that didn't meet her before, that didn't know her aboard the ship, which I believe would be Johannes and Eric, you just noticed that this is strange. This looks almost like an Italian Don getting, the people paying fealty to the Don, Mafia Don, etc. It's kind of almost like the same type of thing, but then it comes across to you that you've kind of seen this before with the Judas Society, because this is how they pay fealty. It's Judas gave the kiss to, identify Jesus in the olive grove, and this is their symbol of fealty. So clearly, the Judas Society is here, and that's where we're going to take our break. Well, welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a good break. And let's get back into it. So, everybody has literally gotten together. They're trying to make their way out of the Savoy Hotel's their ballroom. But on the way out, they notice someone that they know, or at least some of them know. A woman, short little woman, who is basically dressed like the Queen of Hearts. Think of kind of like the Queen from, Alice in Wonderland type look. She's like 5'4", and there's several of people. They're not directly lined up, but it seems like the one will come up and they'll kiss her on the cheek, and then they'll leave, and they'll wait for a few seconds later, and another one will come up from a different location and kiss her on the cheek. But Lennox, Dr. Finley, and Margaret all immediately recognize her as being Eusapia Palladino, the cult leader aboard the Campania, who somehow or another survived.
Do we need to roll sanity for seeing her here?
No.
Okay.
Well, not just for seeing her. I mean, it'd be a shock, but is it sanity? No, I don't think so.
Right, so
Well, Doctor.
this is a woman that tried to sacrifice the baby. How can she be here?
How are we here?
I don't know. I was just warned.
Right. You know what they're saying? If you cut the head off a chicken, the chicken will eventually die, right? Is that what we say here in Europe? Anyway, I think we're all wearing
Well,
masks.
didn't we try to cut off the chicken's head on the ship?
Well, we attempted to,
Maybe then
but did we succeed?
Apparently not. One hell of a rubberneck chicken.
While we talk, can we observe how many followers are kissing her on the cheek, just to get a rough number? Like, is it 10-ish, or is it like in the hundreds?
From what you could tell, maybe a dozen. Maybe a dozen.
So it's not like people lining up and one after another. It's okay.
No, it's not a massive thing. But this is her appearance. Is well, you can tell from these people. Her appearance is very much well lauded. It's very they feel like in awe of the fact that she's actually here. So yeah, definitely. And one thing's for certain, you do notice that one of the people that come up and kiss her on the cheek is Dr. Richard Bamford. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Is there any? Sorry.
So one more thing I wanted to add into the flavor of this is that you've been dealing with the ballroom. Outside of the ballroom in the main foyer, before everybody goes in, there are like little booths set up all around. You have some telling fortune telling. You have others showing feats of being able to move things with their mind and bending spoons with their mind, etc. A lot of these different things are going on, but one of them seems to be getting a lot of attention, and it happens to be someone who's got a deck of tarot cards, and there's a long line. There's like a line of about maybe 20 people waiting to have their reading done by this woman. So just wanted to point that out. And also, Lennox, you also remembered the jacket of Nigel that you took off his body.
yeah, that I'm wearing probably, if it's fitting to the outfit.
Okay. All right. It does. And
I don't have too many clothes, as it was so obviously pointed out.
Right, exactly.
But yeah,
so literally, somewhere in the process of all this, you're wearing this jacket. It's actually slightly a bit small, so you kind of, it's a little tight. You kind of just moving it around a bit, but then you realize Wait a minute. There's a piece of parchment in your lapel pocket.
He told us before he died.
Okay.
How about it?
Well, I think while we all discuss this and we're still kind of within the main hall, I hope we move to the side, and I would also appreciate probably to move into the foyer to just be as far away as audible possible.
Sure.
And I think we need to fill in Mr. Lauritsen and Mr. Ricke about the incidents of what exactly happened in the boiler room on the MSS campaign.
Please
RMS
tell us.
Campania.
Right. RMS campaign.
Yeah.
So, feel free. Okay. Well, you have to. You can explain it. However it is you saw. Yeah, I'm not doing it for you.
I'm just trying to be careful in my choice of words here. Ultimately, it led up to a confrontation where this woman, with several of her henchmen, was in the boiler room of the RMS Campania. As the ship was already starting to sink, she was reciting any sort of chant or their like, and willing to sacrifice the young crown prince, right? Or something. And
Well, he's... Yeah.
yeah, something. Something monarchy. And
It's the future king of England, but
Yeah.
it'd be one generation next. But yeah.
it's
What's it to an American anyway?
exactly. The whole reason why we're even trying to defend this royal house is beyond any of my reasoning, but it seems to be very important.
Wait, you don't like child sacrifice?
Well,
You don't have to be a royalist to see that's wrong. I thank you.
The question though is why this child? Why is it so important? Because during the ritual in the RMS Campania, Dr. Finley here was so elegantly able to rescue the child before its demise and stop the ritual already once. The question is, they clearly seem to be behind this child, and
I read this in the spell book. The blood of an anointed prince has certain powers.
well, then I guess there are two options. Either there's no he's not an anointed prince anymore, or there is no bloodline left for the ritual, right? If we want to prevent this,
That's
ultimately.
horrible.
I do understand,
No,
Miss
we
Playfair.
squashed the cult.
I'm not sure that you can rid the world of princes.
And exactly, she would take the Prussian or the Swedish or the Danish one. What does she care?
What
The Italian, the Greek. Everybody has princes.
do you
Europe is a continent full of princes.
how do you see our probability in stopping her, who we already tried to deal with once and failed miserably? We have no means of understanding her powers, how her abilities even help her. I myself am completely beyond wits in how to approach this wicked witch even. Does she read our minds at the moment? Does any one of you feel intruded in their minds?
Oh gosh.
Aha.
This thought very much spooks me.
Is there some
I sort of
tin
like-
foil around here? I've read somewhere.
But Mr. Morgan, isn't there a more old-fashioned way to do it?
More old-fashioned way?
violence.
He just smirks and smiles at that. I think you're quite onto something here. Then I quite agree with Mr. Lauritsen on this effort. Maybe pure violence is our solution.
Well, let's not rush into decisions yet. Listen, these people seem to possess a lot of power. Even if we kill her, someone else will take over. I believe that the only way to solve this is to learn about this power and handle it ourselves, make it our own.
Isn't it more
Margaret, I
important
want you to.
We can do some good with it. Don't you think?
Margaret, I want you to make a divination roll, please.
But wouldn't it be more important to understand the true reasoning behind their ritual? What is their ultimate goal? Trying to find other ways to either prevent this or... Or did I miss here did I miss something here along the way? Because I don't seem to fully understand what that ritual would do for them.
I believe they will bring back their... will unlock hell. I believe.
And I think they're trying to harness the power somehow. It's not enough to just
Does that
unleash
actually
hell.
matter? Princess Mary is our friend. We can't let her child be taken by these horrible people.
Of course not.
Miss Playfair, could you get in contact with her and make sure that she increases her security?
I tried to. I sent her a telegram and everything, and then I remembered that she was here, but I've not been able to find her. And now that Amphit is back, also I don't know how to reach her. Maybe I should look yonder at that booth with the surprisingly popular tarot reader. I mean, I would want my tarot read by a princess.
Lennox just hangs back a bit and observes where the evil witch from the west is kind of going. And something. I know her name, but it's slip
Eusapia.
Eusapia.
Paladino.
Exactly. So I just want to try to keep an eye on her, that she's not getting too close to us, or that we are able to kind of always stay a bit out of their bounds. Similar to Mr. Bamford. Because I recognize their skull thing.
Right.
Mr. Lewis, what were the methods you employed last time to stop this woman, and why did you fail?
Lewis? Finley?
It was a bullet.
Lennox.
Morgan. Lennox. Well, Dr. Finley.
Well, she fell into the furnace. Ship's furnace, but she's still here.
Yeah, she fell into the furnace of the ship.
Common happen. It just happens, you know.
Accidents happen.
In the furnace, you know.
The ship was
Witches'
sinking.
ovens, match made in heaven.
Okay.
I believe that we should maybe take the direct approach for once. Face her.
Margaret, you feel a pain in your left arm.
Oh, I
That's
look at
like
my arm
something-
and rub it.
It's like something jabbed your arm. And you look at the bend of the arm right here. And it appears there's a welt of blood that seems to have seeped out. It's almost as if someone poked you into anacubital vein, as they call it. Like, what's going on with this?
Is this where Dr. Bamford touched me before Johannes rescued me?
No, it's not. However, you immediately are put into a rigor more, almost like a spasm or a the word. Basically, you go into sort of you tighten up, and your back lurches back, and you suddenly your eyes go white. All of you've noticed this with the crone. Her eyes go white. This is quite terrifying, actually, with the way she's dressed and everything. And you get once again, you see the pinpoint of light, but it actually, you don't quite zoom in so fast, but it almost sort of materializes, and you see yourself. It's you this time. You see yourself kind of laying on a metal slab in a dark and damp type cave. You look down to the right, to your left arm, where you felt the pinprick, and you see a needle and hose or tubing connected to your arm, and you follow the tubing up as it goes and arcs up into a nice large beaker, and you see the blood is slowly being drawn from you, and it's getting larger and larger. You hear the muffled sounds in the background. You hear what you think might be Italian, and then you look to the right and down, and you see you're wearing a bracelet that you're not familiar with. Something that you're not. Then you realize this is not your wrist. This is not your bracelet. This is Mary's. And then snap, you come out of it.
I fling myself into the arms of the next person, and say, I think they've already got her. I saw. I wonder if it's the same place where they held Jessica. I don't know. But they were bleeding her. They were collecting her blood in a vessel, and there was this rubber tubing, and it was horrible. And gosh, there's a cold metal slab. I can feel it now.
Sorry, apologies. Yeah. So that's what you see. You kind of come out of it, and you're looking around. It's hard to understand. You actually feel weak from all of this. You feel it's almost as if your own blood had been drained. So what are you guys doing?
Very good question. Yes.
I mean, what do
We
I
have
see?
to save her.
What do I see
I don't know
from her?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
It might not have happened yet. I'm not sure. Maybe we have.
You were saying, Lennox? Sorry.
When I observe the ballroom and the movement of Eusebia as well as the Dr. Bamford, do I see them kind of approaching? Are they still within the crowd?
No, they're still within the crowd. Actually, kind of just stay by. It's almost as after they sort of pay their homage, they kind of stand as if like they're sending a message, something, But they just stand by. They're watching the dancers, etc. They haven't really looked at you or in your direction.
Oh, but I keep
Not
it
really.
that way. And he slips back to the others. And
Okay.
Is the wound visible on Miss Playfair? The wound, like the blood.
Oh yeah, you could absolutely. The blood is trickling down her arm right now.
Oh
And
gosh.
Doctor,
yeah, it's trickling.
what happened?
I didn't do.
What happened?
I wonder if
She's gone 2 minutes.
is it like stigmata? Because I saw this happen to her. I have it now.
I
Stigmata
I'll
would
check
be
her clothes. Is
completely
there a
different.
hole through the fabric?
No, there is not. And stigmata is you would have wounds in the hands, in the feet, or the wrists, one of the two.
I
It's
mean,
literally supposed
like
to.
if Princess Mary was my Christ, that was just the closest the
Okay.
closest I could think of. From having had a supernatural experience that would then manifest on my body.
It's not you have felt this stuff before. Had actually had feeling. This is the first physical manifestation of anything that you've actually run into when it comes to your divination. However, this is the strongest it's ever been for you. Unbelievably
It was
strong.
terrifying, and I think everybody around me can tell that I'm not feeling great. The bleeding is sort of almost my least worry, because I'm just frantic, because I felt Mary's fear, of being bled by the cultists. I felt like that's it. I'm gonna die here.
I'll again point this out to the doctor to deal with this, and pull Mr. Lauritsen to the side, who earlier already brought the idea of violence and now seeing blood on one of our companions. In my head, vindicates the idea. So, Mr. Lauritsen, what do you think? What should our approach be as an objective new member?
Well, I think we're obviously running out of time here, so we need to do something.
Should we follow the kid, or should we deal with her? Well, clearly dealing with her in this situation, in this circumstance, might be more difficult than to deal with a small child, but then what do we do with a child?
Yeah, but you know what they said, cut the head off the snake, right? Isn't that the idea?
Lennox kind of looks inside his pockets, thinking that he has his coat on with, like, at least a knife or something. But I think that's the moment when he pulls out the paper, the parchment, that he recognized but didn't think about.
Okay. All right. A moment. All right. So when you pull it out, you unfold the parchment, and it's clearly written. This looks like something that has been written by like a Franciscan monk in one of these. It's literally calligraphied type thing. So pay no attention to the actual the font on this whenever I show it to you. So just imagine it to be much more detailed than this. But yes, should be able to see this now.
Mm-hmm.
It's entitled Prophetia Penteclavium. You have 5 things written. It looks to be in Latin, and some sort of saying below, but it's all in Latin.
Beata clavis que numquam perit, beata clavis que sine verbis loquitur, beata clavis que Vaticantur obscurumque potentum, beata clavis est que perdida in venit, beata clavis que cum mortuis loquitur, beata clavis quas tutari voluit Deus Christum et illuminare cum omnia obscura sunt. Would my occult background give me some sense of idea, just if that at least sounds like a chant, or if it's more like an instruction? Because I don't have Latin, so for me,
okay. So go ahead and roll your occult. Just go ahead and roll your occult.
Can I also roll for my Latin? I have 20%.
I get a success.
Are you You did get a success. Okay, you realize that the title of this says Prophetia Penteclavium, and it's the prophecy of the 5 keys. That's it. The rest of it, you're not sure. You see different the words where it says clavis, you think that means key. That type of thing.
I'll hand it over to the doctor, who,
okay,
despite my intention, probably didn't deal with the bleeding wound of Miss Playfair. Perfect. At least
okay.
I understand his priorities. Well said, Doctor.
Okay, so go ahead and make your roll.
Okay. No. Failed by.
Okay. So, like Lennox, you got that this is definitely the prophecy of the 5 keys, but the rest of it you're not sure. It's just no. You would have to grab your Latin book to be able to translate, and you certainly don't have it with you. So, also in that same jacket, in another pocket, you find a crumpled up piece of paper. Now, it looks like that this was written and handwritten, and you're not sure. Despite what you're seeing here, it definitely is kind of scratchy. It's very hard to read, but it's definitely in Latin again. But it's definitely something different. And unfortunately, I don't have it in the same fashion that you have it dated, so it's going to have to be this way. Oh, crud. Hold on. Well, too late. Okay. So, you're going to show that to Dr. Finley?
I will read this first for myself.
Okay, roll your occult.
Since I'm also standing next to Dr. Eric Lauritsen, I wouldn't hide it from him. I think I just, if he wants, you can see and read it too.
I read it as well.
Regular success for occult.
Okay, so yeah. Again, this says Odyssey v Clavium, which is the Odyssey of the 5 keys. The note that you're reading, you don't see the red, by the way. Generally, you don't see it. It's really, you can pick out key words in this, like throne, stars of God. You pick out certain words like full of wisdom. Yes, stuff like that. But trying to piece it together, you're not sure. You just.
I'll show it to Lauritsen. Can you read this?
Yeah. Eric shakes his head. No, I'm not familiar with Latin, unfortunately.
You showing it to Dr. Finley at all, or?
Yeah. Doctor.
Okay.
Any progress? Maybe that helps. Is that easier? Beginner level. Is that adequate for your medical degree? He's kind of pulling a bit in his leg here.
Right. All right. So go ahead and. Shit. All right. The doctor is quite distracted. All right. So yeah, this is really all that you can tell from this right now. Yeah.
We can't hear you, Michaelis.
Damn it. Okay, sorry about that again. Do I see the red-headed woman? The French one? Is she around?
No, not now. She's not there.
Damn.
Roll your ability.
Yeah. Extreme.
Holy shit. Gotta love it. All right. So, you see you're kind of looking about. You're looking for the red-headed woman, and you're kind of looking throughout the dancing couples, etc. But then you kind of look back out into the area where the tarot card reader is, and there's a crystal ball, and there's somebody doing feats of telekinesis, etc. And you see what looks to be an elderly gentleman, probably you're going to say he's probably his 60s, maybe even low 70s. He's got a mostly bald head, got the little crown around it, and he has a Van Dyke or a goatee, and he seems to be just sort of leaning over and looking at the tarot cards, and he looks back and shakes his head and you hear him go, "This is preposterous. Preposterous indeed. Who would actually believe all this poppycock?" And nobody is paying any attention to him. Except you.
I will take the crumpled piece of paper and just walk to him. I'll completely ignore Lennox or anyone else.
Okay.
Anyone else, yes.
Okay.
Maybe this man can read.
So you walk up to this gentleman. He's wearing a tweed three-piece suit, kind of a brown tie. It's not clearly this man is an academic from somewhere, and he looks up to see you. Yes, hello, who might you be?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Frederick Finley.
Oh, a doctor. Fantastic. I'm a doctor as well, although I'm not a doctor of a medical doctor. I am a doctor of psychology. Yes, psychology. I've worked recently with. Well, don't tell anyone. It's quite the scandal, you know. I work with a German by the name of Sigmund Freud. He says wonderful, interesting ideas. Austrian. Okay, yeah, got that wrong. So yeah, Austrian, and he said such wonderful ideas. I'm still amazed by everything he brought. Anyhow, what can I do for you, sir?
Well, since you are a psychologist, sir, would you mind telling me if I'm going insane, seeing things?
You say you're going insane?
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm terribly sorry. If I was practicing now, which I did retire some 5 years ago, but I would recommend some shock therapy and a stay at Bethlehem. Well, you might check yourself in.
I think I'm too old for shock therapy, sir.
Well, maybe you are. Yeah, you do. But you're speaking to me quite rationally, so I don't think that. If you are insane, it's very limited. I would think.
You're too kind. But listen, you're a man of letters. Would you happen to know how to read or write Latin?
Hey, I learned it as a child. I was so good at it. Of course. I used to write multiple things within Latin. Why do you ask?
I would really much appreciate if you could translate this piece of paper for me.
Oh, excellent. He pulls out his hand and tries to grab it. His hand goes directly through it. I'm sorry. How could you? What is? I'm afraid I might be losing my mind. Is that?
Let me put it on the table for you, and then lay it out.
Well, quite. Very good. That's fine. That's just so strange. All right. Let me take a look at this. Okay, that's an extreme. Odyssey v Clavium. That's the Odyssey of the five keys. Quid Filius de Luculae. Yes, he who was son of the morning, grace bastard, he who would exalt his throne above the stars of God. See the list line. He who will sit on the mount of congregation. He who was called the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. That's rather interesting, don't you think? What's this one here? He who would profess to love most that which God made in his own image, yet knows not what love is. For love is the province of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Oh my. This is... You know who he's talking about here, don't you? I believe he's talking about Lucifer. Absolutely. And let's see, the final sentence here says it's the keys whom God has chosen must close the seals. What that's all about. Quite interesting writing. Did you happen to write this?
I wish, but not. Would you be kind enough, sir, to translate one more? For me and my friend.
Well, it is getting close to tea time, but all right. Yes, certainly.
I think I will, just turn around and wave my hands towards the others and make a gesture at them to approach.
Okay. So
maybe put the happy mask on now.
I'm sorry.
Put on the smiling mask now.
Okay, you put on the smiling mask now. That's not creepy. You come. So you notice Lennox, Johannes, and Eric. Well, all of you notice Dr. Finley walks over and he bends over, lays out the crumpled piece of paper that he found on the table. It kind of flattens it out on the table next to where the tarot card reader is looking, and she's kind of looking up at Dr. Finley like he's, what are you doing? And Dr. Finley seems to be having a conversation with somebody that you cannot see. However, let's see. Lennox needs you to make your roll.
Okay. I would also like to actually not approach and then stay back with, that's a regular success, with Mr. Lauritsen,
okay,
and discuss strategy about, because all I wanted to do is pull out a knife or see if I have any weapon on me, because I think we were planning to
attack.
Well,
right.
to do different ideas.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, all right, you're just discussing this. You look up and you do see Dr. Finley is talking with a elderly gentleman wearing a tweed suit. Seems to be a scholar. He's holding a pipe in his hand, and he's kind of looking over the paper that you had in your pocket. And he seems to be making statements to Dr. Finley, and Dr. Finley looks up and he kind of waves you over.
Yeah, that's fine. He can deal with these learned people. Mr. Lauritsen, I'm afraid I find myself in a peculiar situation. I don't have any weapons on me.
Yes, I've come to realize that there's a flaw in my plan as well. I don't seem to have any weapons either. Eric has been scanning the room to see if maybe there is some way to improvise a weapon, or maybe some kind of way to arrange an unfortunate accident. Maybe
with the butter knife.
A heavy chandelier hanging over the dance floor, something like that.
Yeah.
I scanned the room with malicious intent.
Military tactics land.
Yes.
Just looking for weapons, is that it, pretty much? Yeah.
Yeah, either, I don't have
improvised
any
or what?
Obviously, there's no firearms or anything in here, but maybe there's an improvised weapon, or I could use the environment somehow to...
Well, Mr. Lauritsen, worst case, we could just ask a waiter to point us to the kitchen and get a carving knife.
Yes, there should be something sharp there.
And it comes to mind that, indeed, there's a strong presence of the Judas Society, which happen to be quite well armed. So there are weapons about. How you get them is another story. But that is something also to take in mind, that they are armed with firearms, and you're looking at a butter knife. So just saying, you might be careful with that.
Are you planning to bring a knife to a gunfight?
Yeah, pretty much, exactly. That's what I was saying.
But what if, Mr. Morgan? I mean, obviously they outgun us, but we have the element of surprise, right? So what if we overpowered a couple of them?
We just need to land one precise shot, right? We need to have one steady hand.
Exactly. Yes. And whatever happens afterwards, it's in the hands of God, I guess.
Fair point. Yeah, we're all ignoring Dr. Finley. Absolutely.
That's fine. Okay, fine.
Yeah, because he was dancing with himself earlier, and now he's.
I see. So
I didn't see him dancing by himself. I'm just so far I've seen him everything doing correctly. Normally.
Well, I don't think. Don't get me wrong. I respect Dr. Finley and his profession, but I don't think he's going to be much of an asset if it comes to if it comes to more.
He is a hell of a shot, though.
Hand to hand. Well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, but what if he's? I'm thinking more about his state of mind. He seems to be a bit. Yeah.
These. I think that's actually the first time that Lennox will think for a second and earnestly look Lauritsen in the face and by the way, in the pub, Nigel, did he speak to you?
No, he never addressed me directly. I just watched.
He did address you, just momentarily. Did. Yeah. Well, not as Nigel, but he did address you, sort of.
But that's why I'm just. I mean, you can also say that this was intentional, but he just wants to know if you heard the voice, basically, too. If it was not.
Oh yeah, I assume I heard.
Oh yeah,
the voice.
Certainly.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You heard him too,
heard
then.
Him. Yes.
Oh, well, that's a lot of my. I thought I was the only one. Wait, what was that?
Making a cult check, Lennox. Yeah. Making a cult check, Lennox.
Well, then he also starts to think, ooh, the first one counts. 32. Regular success.
So, thinking back on your original encounter with Flauros and with the information that Margaret provided after encountering him, after murdering poor Father Ben Whittle, you recount and remember quite intently that Flauros has the ability to tell all things truthfully, past and present, and is imbibed with all knowledge.
Yeah.
He can provide this information. The only way to do that with him, because he's a consistently and constant liar, the only way to do it with him is to capture him and hold him and then he will do their bidding. So whoever is able to capture him, they'll be able to get him to tell them anything and everything they want to know about anything and everything in the world, etc. This means something to you. This might be exactly what the Judas Society is doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you just see Lennox exactly that. He starts a sentence, but then he just trails off and he just looks at you, and his view kind of just gazes around, and probably to even Ricke, and he just thinks, and everything kind of zones out for him while he's trying to process that bit of information. Also, if you heard what he thought you heard, then there's like this brief moment where it like kind of just switches. Didn't he say something about cannibalism with you? Oh, well, no place for this about right now. But, yeah. And
Okay.
yeah,
But did he?
well, he's just, he just briefly kind of flinches and then just thinks about this.
Yeah.
And I think it will take him a good minute or so, and then he will relay this, that maybe all of this is just to capture Flaros and utilize him. So what if we capture him first? What if we take him and bind him to us or to anyone? And he starts, like, in his head now starts to spin all of the weird occult binding spell theories and hexes and whatnot. And I think he just starts mumbling now phrases and sentences, but like his attention is just like he walks a bit left and right, and he's just going in his head, occasionally just like hitting himself with on the plague doctor's mask.
Do I see that?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
he does it.
Oh, yeah.
He does
Of
it
course you
right
do.
in front of you.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
But you hear what he says, Johannes. You hear what he said about all this, and you hear knowing what you know. Yeah, but knowing what you know from the book. Yes, things.
This
are
all
clicking.
makes sense now.
Mhm.
I'll take him by the scruff and pull him. This is exactly what they're trying to do. This is what they need the blood for. For the binding. For the binding and for the
So-
entrapment.
He kind of looks at Lauritsen. Then we get the blood first. We bind him, and then he's bound with us.
Yes, this, Mr. Morgan, is slightly more compelling idea than taking off on the whole Judas Society with a kitchen car.
With a butter knife, I agree. Well, I don't even have a butter knife. I only have this dessert spoon. Anyhow,
Even better.
Mr. Ricke,
Well, I can hand you a blackjack, but that will not improve the situation. much.
But you've read something in a book. You just said
The book we found.
the book we found. He kind of just zones out for a second, looks around. Yes, the book we found. Right. And
In Bamford's house, the book we found.
yes,
The doctor and me, we read it.
I must have drunk a bit too much that time. And like there's just like a
Or you
little
wear
twitch.
your other self.
So can you perform the ritual of binding? If you have all the
Would I
ingredients?
perform the ritual of... I think I could.
How's your sanity there, Johannes?
I
sanity,
wanted to look at the...
sanity schmanity. Who needs that?
Right.
Oh, yeah, no, I can, I could, that's...
Good.
There's other parts of this ritual that might be more problematic.
Well, perfect then. Let's
Maybe somebody else will have to do it, but we'll see.
Well, let's start with the easier part then. Let's capture the Crown Prince child.
I don't think that is necessary. If what Miss Playfair has been speaking about, they're draining royal blood as we speak.
But we need some. Don't we? Or is Miss Playfair...
But
And
what is easier to
he
get?
looks at Miss Playfair with this like, could we...
Oh,
Could we... I mean...
could we anoint her as a princess?
Oh, that's priceless.
Is Mary anointed? Is that how that works? I'm not sure how
I've no
like
idea how
isn't
any of this
anointing
works.
something that. I mean, wasn't there?
So if we
big
could
deal
get a
about
bishop, we can
anointing
just
in the
anoint
recent
anyone.
coronation?
You know that a prince is a prince who is a prince of the era, whether it be princess, prince, whatever. They're all princes. Are all considered to be anointed by God to be able to do.
I see.
You understand? So, because of that fact, their blood is considered anointed.
I mean, in all fairness, I mean, I'm probably ranking 573 in the order, but I mean, we have a family title. Going back to
Lennox looks at Ricke,
1347.
looks at Lauritsen, looks at Ricke again, looks at Playfair, and then the whole cycle again.
I mean, I'm already bleeding.
Might be a little watered down there. Just
I think Lennox immediately kind of puts a handkerchief
Yeah,
around
you might
it.
need too much. I see that.
Yeah, Mr. Morgan, I think the proper idea is let the Judas Society do it for us and then interject.
Too many variables we can't control.
We need to find Mary, though. She's hurting and she's so scared. They can't bleed her dry.
And there's your
Maybe they will not stop until. Maybe they'll not stop until they've got it all.
But if the woman is here, she will have to go to see, to the sacrifice, to the ritual.
But if we follow her to get the location, then we'll also come to the most inopportune time.
Yeah, it would be nice to get there a bit early. Only then who's the way for us.
Somebody get the doctor. Oh no, you know what? He actually uses the spoon to throw it at the doctor to get his attention, to kind of wave him over.
I think I would have probably joined you by now.
Okay.
Because I wanted the other paper, so I would probably walk up to you while you were having this discussion and snatch the piece of paper from your hands and go back to the.
well, the old man followed you over. Oh yes, right. You're going to introduce me to your fellow friends here.
Aww.
No, none of you see him except Lennox. Lennox is the only one who sees.
Mr. Morgan. I have an idea.
Aha!
You can intrude into people's minds, can you?
He's very careful to say yes because he doesn't know how to control anything of this, and it's more luck than anything. Yes, I can.
Not anymore.
Of course, yes.
Could you relay something from one mind to another?
Yes.
Sort of.
Yeah, that's a
Paragraph.
very confident yes that is not substantiated by any fact that he knows.
So if you could
Lennox.
relay Miss Playfair's vision to me, I could maybe find out where the ritual is taking place or where they have the princess.
Give yourself an inspiration point, Johannes, and use that as a free reroll. That is very good. So.
Wow. Lennox just he's truly inspired by your brilliancy here. I can certainly try. And I think he actually would kind of reach out for both your hands and try, because like that's what he's seen the most. You hold hands too, and who are you? Just a moment, sir. Speaking to the professor.
Quiet.
Okay.
I'll just stand over here.
So, Miss Playfair, you focus on your vision, and you, Mr. Ricke, just open your mind to, yes, open your mind. Yes, let's try this. And Lennox just like
You
stares
get a
blankly in between of them and like probably starts to get cross-eyed too.
Bonus die on this.
Oh.
Ooh.
So
Come on. Oh, that's
are you kidding me?
No.
really shitty. I mean,
Oh
that's a
my God.
79 out of 66. I can spend luck to make it a regular success if that's. I mean, I have to kind of.
I think you don't have much choice in the matter.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's up to you.
No. I'm gonna spend. Oh, yeah.
How much luck is that going to be?
That's gonna hurt, but okay.
That's 13 points of luck to get it to a regular success.
Oh, that's not too terrible.
Yeah,
I've seen
neither,
worse, but
anyway.
all
Yeah,
right.
I'll do that. I'll spend 13 points of luck, make that
Okay.
a regular success. And maybe you get like in the beginning a couple of visions of mine of evenings that I might don't want to relay, and I was like, don't think about those, and they come to you like in the beginning.
Okay. So yes, you managed to get a full visage of. Actually, it's not just what Margaret saw recently, but they all had met with the prince and princess at Buckingham once they returned from got off, in London. So you actually get visions of that as well. So it's very easy to now you got a real good look. So with that, you may make your clairvoyance check and give it a bonus die as well.
Oh, success.
Okay. So as you focus in on all of this, your mind almost like spins. It's very dizzying, and it's like everything seems to be spinning in place, and you're trying to keep your center, and you feel yourself being thrust through layers and layers of ground and earth, and you find yourself in a massive chamber below the earth. And at the end of the chamber, this is maybe we're going to guess maybe about 200 feet high by about 400 feet long, massive cavern. At the end of it, you can see, because you're kind of up high, you can see what looks to be some sort of temple. But then as you kind of zoom and back away, as you're going through the tunnels that lead to this, you realize it's the exact same tunnel that you left when you got Miss Jessica out.
I thought so.
I relay that information.
Okay. So she's definitely, that she's definitely in the temple. And that's where she's at.
Well, at least we know the way, I guess.
Oh, I feared as
But
much.
what are we going to do without? What are we going to do without the magical card?
The magical cart? Oh, you mean? Oh, right.
You know, the
Mustang.
person-driven.
Oh.
Well, we did
The
escape
one that you-
afterwards at the end, and there must be a way for them to enter as well. But I'm sure Mr. Lauritsen here will guide us easily and safely down below. Now, you, sir, Dr. Finley, who's this man? And were you able to translate the letters?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is Sir. I think that's his name, actually.
I'm Dr. Fillingham. I'm from South London, Wimbledon to be exact. Yes.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
I did teach at Oxford for a while. Yes, good to meet you as well. You had another piece of document for me to try out and work out my Latin, yes?
Yeah, I think Dr. Finley has it already.
Okay, so he grabs for the paper again. His hand goes directly through the paper. What ungodly... What is all this public... What is going on here?
Yeah, I know. It's the lighting. It's the lighting. Trust me. I was wondering myself.
I'll hold it up here for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you hold it up. Because he doesn't know he's dead.
And the two of us speaking to midair while the other three are standing next to us.
Exactly. So...
do I understand what is going on? I mean, I presume I did hear Finley addressing him or repeating his name. So, being from there, have I heard of a Dr. Fillikin? Was he sort of, like renowned?
Let's find out.
I mean, like I've spent
A little before
35
your
years.
time. Yeah, it's a little before your
doing
time.
all the academia.
Yeah, it's a little before your time, actually. So, yeah, but no, you don't recognize his name. Let's see. So, getting to the Prophetia Pentaclavium, or the Prophecy of the Five Keys, and he translates it for you. So, it states, Beata clavis que nuquam peralit. Blessed is the key that has never been lost. And he continues on with the Latin. He says, blessed is the key that speaks without words. Blessed is the key that tells of the prophecy and portent. Blessed is the key that finds what is lost. Blessed is the key that speaks with the dead. Blessed are the keys whom God has chosen to protect the anointed and bring light when all is dark. This is quite interesting indeed. Where did you find this? This is quite amazing.
Oh, just a biographical sketch that we thought about.
Right. But of course, biographical. He looks as if, of course, he's trying to, agree with you because he really has no idea what you're talking about. But okay, of course, yes.
Never mind. Thank you very much. And yeah, he kind of goes out to shake his hand, points out a couple of doves and tea corners and maybe a couple of whiskeys or something. And
that's quite. I don't mind a nice round of some bourbon, of course. Yes, he basically waddles himself over.
And I'll turn around, and Finley, and we kind of both huddle over this and relay the information to the others, I guess. Unless Dr. Finley has other ideas.
Okay.
I think I will remain silent for a few moments and then ask everyone. I think is this where we're gonna end up? Ghosts, spirits, trapped in this limbo.
Ghost spirits? I have no.
Ghosts.
Don't you see this? Here, and he points to the last line. We are blessed by God. No, I didn't think I was worth anything, but now I'm apparently blessed by God himself. Well, see that. And he kind of looks at the others as like, you've heard his translation. Like, what do you say?
I have a theory, Mr. Morgan, if I may.
Oh, please.
I mean, there's 5 keys, right?
Yes.
1, 2,
And 5
3,
of
4,
us.
5. And there's 5 of us, right? And I mean, one of us is good at, never gets lost. Maybe someone else speaks to the dead. I've seen some things here tonight. Maybe it's talking about us.
Yes, we are the keys. And
Sounds pretty much like it.
We are blessed by God to protect the anointed. he grumbles a bit when he repeats that sentence. Like,
Oh, now we can't sacrifice him himself ourselves. Ah.
bring light when all is dark. Well, where there's keys, there must be keyholes.
Let's see. I'm going to need you to make an intelligence check, Johannes.
Apparently, I'm very smart.
Excellent. All right. No, that's fantastic, and it's very appropriate. Given your investigations for the past 2.5 years and everything that you've seen and saw, you have deduced based on these things here. There were 5 men that did the exorcism. In the works that you have looked at, things that you look at, the name Flauros was mentioned.
Yeah, I get it. I might not tell him that the 5 dead people are essentially the previous keys. I might want to not relay that to the others.
Okay, leave it at that. Okay.
Well,
Okay, so what's
gentlemen,
the plan?
Yeah, exactly. We kidnap. We'll rescue Miss Mary, and we'll bind Flauros to ourselves. How do we bind him? Now, Mr. Ricke, a bit more input on that. Do we need a vessel? Can we bind him in an item?
I think were you talking to Mr. Ricke, or are you talking to Mr.
Ricke.
Yeah, sorry, Johannes. Sorry, yeah. I got it mixed up. Never mind. So go ahead.
I'll need some information from the keeper for that.
Okay.
How are the practicalities, like the logistics of this ritual?
Basically, from what you can tell, all you need is the book. You're gonna, of course, need the standard candles, chalk, salt, those types of things. The different elements that you would normally need for creating a binding spell. It might be a good idea to find a good place that is far and away from everybody else. I just don't know where, so that'll be up to you guys. But yeah, that's really it. I mean, it'll take some time.
But do we? How does that is the way? What's happening? Where will the demon be bound to? Or
literally, you're going to
Or-
create this diagram that's going to be esoteric symbols, and it'll be a big circle, and in the center will be a triangle. The triangle is where he has to remain. You've got to get him in the triangle, hold him there, and once that's done, he's yours. You can do it. But getting him there is the hard part.
Yeah, and also what then?
Well, it's up to you. I mean, you're literally trying to do exactly what the Judas Society has been trying to do. If you go that fashion, that route. I'm not sure that's a good idea, but that's entirely up to you guys.
Well, from having it bound or caged, the question is, could we then also dismiss it? Could we, or is it then in this
I believe one of the
place for all eternity, which also would suck somehow, but then we should pick the place really well.
I believe one of the spells that you found in there was a banishment spell.
I don't think I have a ban. Well, it's a yeah. Probably I can use that to banish him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You have a way to bind, banish, and then I believe you have a withering spell. The withering.
No, I don't have banish. I only have command.
Okay.
Cage, and summon.
Maybe I did not send it to you. Oh,
Anyway.
nope, you're right. You're absolutely right. It is just those three. So, yeah.
But if I can command it, I can command it to fuck off. So, might use that to banish.
Well, you have to cage him first to even get him, I mean, you can command him maybe, but could he come back? Yeah.
But isn't that exorcism thing is essentially commanding a demon to...
True. Through a ritual, it's a ritual command. So, in that case, it's being done through, through the that was being done through the Catholic rites of exorcism. Which, again, this is the number one place that the Judas Society would love to just destroy, is the Catholic Church. So, okay, well, I mean, it's not impossible to go find an actual banishment spell. If you can find this, it's not impossible to find what you're looking for, especially in London. Are you kidding me?
Time.
Yep,
time.
that is a factor. Absolutely.
We cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, I feel
okay.
So you relay all that information to us, right? Okay. I'm still wondering. Eusebia Palatino, when we were on board the ship, she mentioned something about the master. The master. Is the master the one they are trying to figure out how to bring here? This plane of existence on Earth. Is that why they need flowers to tell them maybe how to do it? The hell is the master?
Theoretically,
You're right. I used to think that Flauros was the master, but that does make no sense if they want to bind him.
You remember quite well, both Lennox and Margaret. Flauros is a duke of hell. He's sort of like a general, master general, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, he's not the big guy, not by any means. So
even if we summon Flauros, and then what? We dismiss him. Then they will summon him back.
Maybe.
Again,
but when we summon him, we can command him,
and we can
he is
control
to
him
tell us
every truth. We can ask him about what we need to know in order to advance in our further quest.
Once you have him in that triangle, he has to answer each and any and all questions truthfully, past, present, and future. So that's
including how do we keep you from getting?
He absolutely has to tell him, as long as he's trapped within that triangle. Yeah.
Right. This is the way to do it. Then. We can't stop the society. They're too many, too strong. But flowers can help us then. But what would the price be? I mean, it comes without a price. What would summoning him would cost us?
You concerned with costs when it...
Well, I hear there's royal blood involved.
I find it hard for a demon to just accept blood and not life or something else. Souls.
As long as Flauros is out of that triangle, he will lie, steal, cheat. Nothing can be thought of as the truth coming from him at all. You cannot trust him. Remember that.
I'd say we get out of these silly costumes, get ready, and immediately set foot.
Look for yourself this decent mask I'm wearing.
Okay. So is that the plan? You guys are going to go ahead and change, get out of there, and head down that rickety elevator again.
I mean, I
Are you?
trust my
Yeah.
faith in Mr. Lauritsen at this point.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, both Johannes and Mr. Lauritsen would be able to help with this greatly. Although you can see that Eric is looking sickly. The intensity of this energy that seems to be pulsing throughout the area right now, Eric, is literally kind of making you ill. You are not well. Yeah, definitely you're not feeling well at this point.
I can hardly stand up. I'm leaning against something.
Mhm.
And,
Absolutely.
Swaying a bit. I think I pulled up my mask a bit just to be able to breathe a bit easier. So I'm definitely not in good shape at the moment.
Is the place where we're going not only going to be worse for you?
No,
Are you sort of going into it when we?
I don't
look for the
know. It's
princess?
just that it's. I think it's the city. It's this place, but it's also this big city with all the. There's too much here. I feel much better in the wild. But maybe if we go underground, it's going to be easier on me. I think so. I'm very happy to get out of here.
Yeah, Lennox will support you to your room and kind of make sure that you are okay.
So another question is everybody needs to kind of tell me exactly how they're preparing, what kind of things that they're getting or they're going to be taking, what things they want to take with them, etc. Important.
Well,
As far as Finley is concerned, medical bag. He will dress. He will put on his best costume and suit, regardless that he's going down in the on the ground.
All right.
And then I think he will knock on Lady Playfair's door, and if she answers, he will offer his apologies for not taking care of her wound, and if she allows him, he will gladly take a look at the.
Thank you. That is immensely kind. I think it's stopped bleeding by now.
It has. It's bruised, but yeah, it has.
Maybe
I tied a handkerchief around it, but please do have a look. And I've used my time, just basically just washing my face of the paint, but I've not actually changed. And I've used my time penning a short little message to Jessica explaining when she comes to and I'm not back. That's what happened. Because somebody must know, somebody must take up the mantle. If there is any world left to save after that, Jessica is cool and smart and she can do that.
Okay.
No pressure.
No pressure. That's how you raise your apprentices, to be cooler than yourself.
All right.
Don't do like me chasing after all the books. Become Indiana Jones yourself.
Okay. So we know what Dr. Finley's doing. We know what Margaret's doing. Eric, what are you doing as far as preparing?
I changed out of the costume.
Right.
I curse myself for not having a rifle because I thought this was going to be a civilized trip, so I didn't bring a rifle. But I do have a knife.
In this day and age in London, believe it or not, it's not till 1906 before they actually pass a pistol act that bans all firearms. Before that, you can get a firearm for 10 quid down the street. So you could probably get yourself a rifle, whatever else. So
I will then go and get myself a rifle because at the trip has turned out to be not so civilized. So now I
Right.
feel that I will go and acquire a rifle, and
Okay.
I will bring my knife, because I'm not sure it's going to be all that peaceful.
Well, you're at the Savoy, so all you have to do is call the chief butler, would you actually request a selection of rifles, and they actually bring them to your room.
Well, you have them
Oh.
running to the hunting store. Can you have them get us lights and rope and?
You certainly can. Absolutely.
Bear
It's going to
traps?
take some
Yeah.
time, but absolutely. And given the amount of credit rating we've got here, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
plenty.
So, I mean, no problem.
plenty of credit rating.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
So those were better times. Okay.
Mhm.
I'll call. I'll ask them to get me that equipment.
Okay. And for Margaret and Dr. Finley, same. Just I wanted to bring that back to you in case you're wanting to get yourself something specifically, for your own self-protection, other than a scalpel and a handbag. It's up to you.
I mean, I've been shooting grouse and foxes when I
Sure.
was younger. I probably
Absolutely.
can still
You're
hold
actually
a rifle.
quite good with it. Well, you could do a rifle or a shotgun. Well, the grouse you're shooting with a shotgun, but if you shoot it with a rifle, that's yeah. Well, yeah, well, you can do both. Doesn't matter. You're familiar with the rifles. Guaranteed, your father taught you from an early age. That type of thing.
I'm actually thinking using a shotgun and cultist could be fun.
Okay, so
Not one
all
of
right.
those
Absolutely. All right. So we'll say a double-barreled shotgun for Margaret. That is just a scary sight. I don't know about you guys, but I'm terrified by that whole thing with Margaret with the double-barreled shotgun. All right. So and Dr. Finley, had you thought about anything or specific, or what do you want to do?
I have a pistol. I'm not using it very often, but I'll just grab
As
a
long as
pistol
if you got one. Okay.
and definitely a flashlight or a lamp or maybe.
I'm going to say each and every one of you has a light of some sort, whether it be a lantern or a flashlight or a torch, as they call it in England. So, because there's no reason after your first venture into here, you definitely know what you need. Absolutely. So there's no doubt in my mind that you're able to acquire all of those things. Lennox, anything specifically for you other than your stuffed mouse?
Well, yeah, after dropping off Mr. Lauritsen, he will sit for like 5 minutes, like taking part of his costumes off on his bed, and he will talk to his little mouse. He'll put it on the pillows and he'll talk to it. And he will do a little protective charm. And being aware of like things rub off and stuff, he will actually resort to the extent that he will take out a little knife from his actual coat and he will start to scar, like similar to certain skins that he found and saw on the cultists, scar himself with similar protective wards that he thinks of. Not like deep scars, but certainly they are bleeding. But
You're okay. So all right. Okay. That we can say that.
And besides that, he'll change back into his sewer clothes, because why waste another suit? And then the only thing he would be looking for is a good sharp knife.
Okay. No problem. In fact, the British commando knife was just created, I believe. Well, no, not this time here. That's after World War One.
No, not.
So
he's not really into. He doesn't understand weapons per se. So like he would actually like ask for like a carving knife from the kitchen or something, like a very sharp.
How about just a hunting knife?
Hunting knife.
It's just a hunting knife. Yeah. We'll call it a hunting knife. Yeah, because those are a little bit stronger than the knives in the kitchen. It can handle a little bit more, so you probably want that instead. So, all right, so you got the knife. You've etched yourself. That should have been fun. You've heard yelping from Lennox's room for the past hour.
There's no yelping. There is just a slow conversation with the mouse. It's actually an in-depth conversation where he talks with the mouse about he knows about Father. He knows about the others too. Oh, he should not get me once more. Oh, no, not again. That's kind of what he says while he does what he does.
That's awesome. I love it. That's awesome. Okay, so last but not least, Johannes.
Besides making sure that Mr. Lawrenson takes all the proper cave exploration equipment this time,
you got rope.
I have a gun. I'll take the book. I'll take lockpicks, of course. I always have those. Don't think I'd take anything in addition to my normal stuff.
Well, you're also going to have
the fact that I have a light,
the materials for,
and the book and the materials
for that,
for the ritual
spells. Yeah. Okay, so all of you managed to get all of this together. It actually takes you a good, I'm going to say 2-3 hours by the time you're all finally get everything done and everything's brought to your doors and what you requested, and it was not it cost a pretty penny for all this, but given your, like I said, your credit ratings is a drop in the bucket. So you're now all decked out in your clothes that you're going to be heading down, and you're completely armed and fully 100% have all of your equipment with you, and you make your way down to the bowels of the Savoy Hotel. You find that rickety elevator, old, rusted. You all pile in. It's kind of creaking, and it's actually still powered. You're surprised. It's still working. Johannes, we're going to say that you actually were you're operating the elevator, and you hit it to go down, and it slowly goes down as it did before. Just every once in a while, it kind of rocks because it's old, and it seems like it's going down, but it seems like it's going further down, and well, maybe further than before. You're not sure, but it actually finally comes to a halt. And you can't see, of course, as per usual. There's now no light in this area at all. It's literally void. You're just kind of looking out. It's completely dark. You can barely see your hand in front of your face. And as soon as, I'm assuming, you and whoever's in front is going to pull out their light source, whatever it might be, a torch, whatever, that type of thing. And as soon as you pull that out, you hear the whole place rumbles. You shake inside of the elevator. You're trying to grasp on where you're at and what's going on. Johannes, you find yourself waking up. You sort of passed out and wake up, and you find yourself sitting on a black concrete or some type of a rock. You cannot see anything around you. It's completely void. The only thing that's there is a cone of light that singles down directly on top of you. You say a word, it echoes throughout. You have this intense feeling of being alone. Despair comes upon over you. You have this, like you'll never find your way back again. You actually, these things pop into your head as you're just sitting here.
I don't see any of the others, I assume.
You see nothing but this bright light, a cone of light above you.
I grab the little locket around my neck.
Okay.
Where does the cone of light come from?
Okay. Go ahead and roll. You're going to do this as a. Yeah, you have
Cone
no
of
idea
light?
where it's coming from. Well, no, I was assuming you're trying to discern the location of the light, but you can't tell. There's no way to tell. It's literally kind of coming out of a voidless sky. You can't see the ceiling. You can only feel what the light is revealing below you that you're sitting on. Because you're sitting on with your knees up to your chest, and you're just looking around yourself, and you have no idea how you got here. You still have all of your stuff with you, your equipment, whatever, but you're there.
Then first I would try to find something in the dark with the light. If
Okay.
I still have a torch, I'd try to.
You pull out your torch and you try to shine it out through to look, to find. The light dissipates immediately as soon as it hits the dark. It does not penetrate it.
So if I just like put my hand out from the darkness, it just disappears in the black?
Correct. We're going to get back to you in a minute. The rest of you. Suddenly, when this massive explosion takes place, suddenly you find yourselves kind of passing out as well. And you awaken to the sound of singing.
Do we find
Hi.
Johannes gone?
I'm sorry?
Do we find Johannes gone?
Not yet, but you will. But initially, you hear the sound of singing. A high soprano, then an alto, then a baritone and bass. It's you recognize it. It's one of Puccini's. It's an opera. And you awaken to find yourself in a box at a very ornate opera house, full of people. You don't recognize any of them, but they're all staring intently at the stage. Down below, you see two performers singing, a woman who's singing an aria from one of the Puccini's plays. Aida, could be. So this is where you're at. You see Johannes is no longer here.
How? Why?
You said that the place is filled with people, right? Full of people.
It's completely full of people.
Are they dressed in contemporary clothing?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Well,
Or
yeah. It's contemporary tuxedos, gowns, that type of thing. Yeah.
And how do we look like? Are we dressed in our own
You're
clothes?
actually dressed in tuxedos, and Margaret is wearing a beautiful gown. What's your favorite color, Margaret?
Burgundy.
Burgundy. Okay, so it's a very beautiful burgundy gown. Yeah, you're all sitting in this thing, or in this opera house. Getting back to you, Johannes, is there anything you're specifically doing?
I need to try to find the others. That's the only possibility.
Okay, how are you going to do that?
Well, I do have a certain ability to find things.
Okay.
So I'll try to find the others.
Okay.
And preferably Mr. Lauritsen first, because if you find
Okay.
the person who can orient,
That's probably a good idea.
then us together can maybe find the others if we're scattered.
Okay, roll your roll.
I might want to use that inspiration that I got earlier.
Okay.
Or pay 11 luck. Pay 11 luck.
Okay.
I might hold on to that reroll for.
Okay. So, you sense that Mr. Lauritzen is this way. You know the pointed in the direction, but you don't see anything there. So what do you plan on doing?
Leap of faith. Step into the darkness.
Okay, you step in the darkness. All right. What are the rest of you doing? Mr. Lauritzen is gone. Are you or not Lauritzen, but Mr. Ricke is gone. Yeah. So what are you doing exactly? Are you just sitting there? Are you are you looking for him? Are you calling out for him? What are you doing? Because it seems like everybody around you is completely oblivious to your location and who you are. They don't even know you're there.
Yeah. I mean, I think I take a moment to sort of realize that everybody else is really there. You know, I probably have to, I don't know, like touch them, talk to them, have them answer me. Because I mean, I've been having visions all day. You know, what's to say this isn't one and I'm not actually me? But on a closer look, it does appear to be them and me. So, now that we're here, how do we get away from here and back to where we're needed? This is not where we rescue Princess Mary, I think. I look at the stage to make sure that she's not like being bled on stage.
No. Johannes, you actually do you start off in that direction. You do begin to hear way off in the distance singing as if an opera was being played. Can't hear you.
Walk towards the opera then.
Okay. All right. So the rest of you are just kind of sitting there waiting. Yes? No? What are you doing?
I think Finley believes he's dead. And
Okay.
No, we can't be. This is not. No.
No, we're dead. He scan, through the crowd, through the people that are sitting beneath him. I assume
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Maybe Abigail and his daughter are there. Catherine is also there. Are they?
Oh. Okay. So go ahead and make a spot hidden.
All right. Stream one.
Ooh, nice.
Outstanding. Okay, so you look throughout the entire I mean, you're very intent in looking at every single person and every single seat. No one kind of stands out to you. Then you kind of see some movement in the corner of your eye, and one of the actors on the stage stops mid-singing, looks up to you, smiles.
You didn't think I would make this easy for you, did you?
And the lights go out, and that's where we're going to end our session for today.
Oh.
Damn you, flowers.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you enjoyed watching this latest episode in Vino Veritas. We had a great time with it. Just stay tuned for our next episode of The Sovereign Sacrifice.